It is one of the most important days in the National Basketball Association. The annual NBA Draft is about to start in about a half hour or so, and we're going to bring it to you live here on a special edition of the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. This is not your traditional format. We are going live throughout the NBA Draft. Stacey's going to provide his expert analysis, tell stories about his draft experience as well. I don't know where Timmy Whispers went, Stacey. I mean, he's missing in action. He's been here for 2 hours, and we start the show, and he's gone.
America, Bulls Nation. This what makes it very difficult. You know, the guy's never on time.
Yeah.
You know, if it was his funeral, he'd be late. Look at
you got a beer.
Here he is coming in, America. He went to go get a beer.
Yeah.
I had to go help some people out.
Oh my goodness, America.
Put your headset on.
Put your headset on.
Act
please.
like you've done it before.
Oh my goodness gracious, this guy here, man, he's holding us back.
Yeah.
That's like, you remember the first drummer the Beatles had?
Yeah.
You know, he was terrible, and they brought in Ringo Starr. That's kind of like Tim.
Yeah, Ringo was much better.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so we're going to be here for the next few hours, taking you through the NBA Draft and talk about which teams should select, you know, which guy is best fit for them. The Bulls have the 18th pick in round one. There's a lot of rumors that they might try to trade up using Coby White and the 18th pick as bait to get up. Speculation, Stacey, that the Bulls don't exactly love a lot of the guys at 18, and if they can find a way to move up into that top 12, maybe get a guy like Mark Williams from Duke.
Well, I mean, depends on, you know, what they're going to give up to move up. You know, if it's going to be, you know, the 18th pick and Coby White, you know, there is some interest in Coby White, you know, because Coby White, honestly, is still going to be very good in this league. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. The kid can shoot the basketball. He can, you know, he can handle it. He's 6'5". He's a big guard. So it's just a matter of finding a team that falls in love with Coby White in order for that to happen.
All right, guys, trying to sneak the bottle of water up here. We've got to make sure we have the product placement exactly right.
We're selling water, baby.
It is Stacey King's Gimme the Hot Sauce, so we appreciate it if you would listen, like, and subscribe. We want to get those subscriber numbers up. For some reason, they're languishing. You know, all the comments that we see on YouTube all the time, Stacey, people are like, why isn't this show blowing up? And we're asking the same question. Why hasn't this show blown up?
Let me just tell you, because there's so many podcasts out there. There's a million Bulls podcasts, and I'm not hating on anybody. You know, hey, everybody's good podcast in my opinion, but we're the best. We're your favorite podcasters, favorite podcast show.
Hey, let's talk about some of the options the Bulls have at number 18. At that point, you're not going to get the cream of the crop, but every now and again, guys will fall through. Kawhi Leonard was the 15th pick in the draft. Giannis was like 15 or 16. So every now and again, you're going to get that diamond in the rough. Heck, the Bulls got Jimmy Butler at 30. So there are guys that you can get in that range that could be excellent. Who do you like at 18?
Well, I mean, for big guys, because the Bulls need a big or they need shooting. And, you know, the big guy I really like is Walker Kessler from Auburn, the 7-footer that can run, block shots. He's NBA ready right now to block shots and play defense and anchor your back. Not as far offensively as you'd like, you know, but that's something he can get better at. I mean, he's, you know, the lineage from his uncle Alec Kessler, who played at Georgia, was also an NBA player for a long time. So he's got good genetics. Kid can run, you know. But at that point, you've got to take the best available player at 18. And on everybody's board is E.J. Liddell from, you know, Ohio State. You know, that's the guy that everybody's talking about. For me, there's some other guys you can look at. I mean, I look at, you know, Patrick Baldwin Jr. You know,
he can shoot it.
You know, he came in highly rated from high school and ended up playing with his dad, and that probably was not a good decision.
And his dad, Patrick Baldwin, played at Northwestern, was an outstanding player there, and he got the head coaching job at UW-Milwaukee, which is a mid-major, and his son decided to follow him there, and then he got hurt. So that's really dropped his draft stock.
And his shooting was awful last year, 26%, I think, from the three-point line. He's a much better shooter than that. I think the pressure of trying to carry a program, playing at a lower level Division I program, trying to be the main face of that program, then playing for your father, the expectations and the pressure playing for your dad may have been a little bit too much from him. I think that you're going to look back, wherever he's drafted, they're going to look back and say, this kid's 6'9", and he can shoot the basketball. He's more of a wing player, 3-and-D guy. And I think whoever gets him is going to get a steal. I think he's going to be a very, very good player in this league. I also like the kid from Arizona, the big kid, Christian Koloko.
He's a good athlete.
Great athlete, can run and jump, play defense. He can switch out on smaller guys. That's a guy that'll be around when the Bulls draft or in the second round. Alondis Williams from Wake Forest, a 6'4" combo guard. No one's talking a lot about him. He's a kid that can play the point, the two guard. He can shoot. He's another 3-and-D type of player. He played alongside the kid that everybody's talking about that I've seen on some of the polls of the Bulls draft, and is that Jake LaRavia from Wake Forest.
Yeah.
Those two kids played well. Alondis Williams played at Oklahoma the first couple of years and transferred in the portal to go to play at Wake Forest. Both of those two guys had really good years last year. Williams was the ACC Player of the Year last year, so that's something, being an ACC player, you got, Banchero there, you got all these good players that are there. Duke had like 4 or 5 is going to be in the lottery, so that tells you how good Williams was. But this kid, Jake LaRavia is a kid to keep your eye on because he does so many things well, doesn't do one thing great. He's kind of like, if you want to compare him to someone, George Niang from Philadelphia, a guy who might be an undersized power forward, but can shoot the basketball, can pass the ball. His passing is off the charts. That's one thing that they graded his passing on. He's one of the best passers in the draft.
And every year, somebody falls out of that lottery position, and who is going to be the guy that maybe slides down to 18? I know that there was a lot of speculation that maybe the Bulls would have some interest in Tari Eason, a power forward from LSU. People were thinking, well, he's definitely going to the lottery. He won't be there. But he could be a guy that maybe slides to 18, and he's a very athletic power forward. He could provide some rim protection. Not exactly a great three-point shooter at this point in his career, but if he slides to 18, he might be a nice fit as a backup on the Bulls' front line.
Mark, I hate to break the news to you. He's not going anywhere. He's staying high. He moved up the board, especially late. There was a chance I thought the Bulls would be able to get him, and it would be between him and Liddell as that spot. But he has been skyrocketing. He's that guy that's like made some moves up the rank. There's some people that have him going in the top 15 now. So anything can happen. You look, some of these guys, could slip all the way down. We've seen it in the past. It wouldn't surprise me if some of these guys who are in like after the top 3 or 4 players, you can see them moving down a little bit. This is a kid right here, Blake Wesley.
If you're watching the ESPN coverage,
you can't see it.
We're watching this
Yeah.
while we're doing the show. So
I'm telling you right now, America.
From Notre Dame.
6'4", point guard, one of the fastest guards in college basketball last year, can flat out fly. He's athletic. He can dunk. That kid, no one's talking a lot about him because he struggled. Last year he struggled from the three-point line, and everybody's basing if a kid can play based on if he hit three-pointers at the college level.
And he's a legit scorer.
Oh, he can get to the bag. Yeah. He is athletic. He is super fast in transition. You watch this kid play, I tell you what, man, it is unbelievable how fast he is with the ball and without the ball. He's got that kind of Derrick Rose speed, Russell Westbrook speed, but under control. That's the kid to watch out for, too.
And we asked people to give their opinions on who they think the Bulls should select at number 18. We put a little poll out on social media yesterday, and right now the overwhelming winner is E.J. Liddell, a 4-year player, or I should say a 3-year player at Ohio State who improved each and every year. And last year, he got his three-point percentage up to about 38%. He's a little undersized at 6'7", but he's a guy that I think immediately can go into an NBA rotation and give you solid minutes.
Yeah, he's a guy kind of like a Draymond Green type of player. Grant Williams from Boston. He's in that mode of type of player. I think he's a better athlete than all those guys. I think he brings a lot of those different kind of elements. He can rebound. He's a tough kid. You listen to him talk. He's willing to do whatever the team asks him to do. And if you're a general manager and a coach, you like to hear that because he's coachable. He played for a good coach. He played in the Big Ten. So that has to mean something as well. There's another guy, America, Bulls Nation. Dude, I've been doing my homework, okay? There's another guy to look out for. His name may not be called to the second round, but this is a guy that I think is going to be a pretty good NBA player. Michael Foster Jr. He's 6'8", 250 pounds, kind of like E.J. Liddell type of player, big, strong kid. He played in the G League last year. Very, very good shooter, can score. He can score at the NBA level right now. 6'8", 250 pounds. Can flat out score. So keep your eye on my man Michael Foster Jr. He played for the G League Ignite last year.
Well, before we get to the picks, ABC is going to start their broadcast right about now, and then they'll talk for a little while, probably another 10 or 15 minutes before we get the first pick. Let's talk about the hot rumor that was making the rounds in NBA Twitter and all over social media today. That, of course, the Kyrie Irving situation, apparently trying to force his way out of Brooklyn. And, of course, they came to Brooklyn as a package deal. He and Kevin Durant both signed as free agents the same year. KD signed a 4-year extension after last year. And now the thought is that if Kyrie tries to force his way out of Brooklyn, maybe KD is going to demand a trade. And, of course, we've seen the shots of KD wearing the Bulls jersey, wearing the White Sox cap at different things.
Trolling.
Hey, you know the way the NBA works right now.
Trolling.
The star players run the league.
Yeah, I mean, they do. And if you're Kevin Durant, you're upset because you were tricked to come to Brooklyn to play with two other All-Stars to try to win a championship. James Harden and Kyrie Irving. And when they were healthy, I think their record was like 16-2. So they didn't play enough games because of Kyrie. James Harden was hurt, the first year they're together. But the thing about Kyrie, I mean, he's box office. You hear this about him. He's box office. He is a dynamic scorer. He is one of the top, I would say one of the top point guards, if not the top point guard in the league as far as what he can do for your team.
Yeah, in terms of talent.
But the problem is that you can't depend on him.
It's never there.
You don't know if he's ever going to show up. I mean, he could go out and say, hey, I'm going out into the Arctic Ocean to free whales and find Free Willy, and I'm going to spend a month out there, chasing Free Willy. You know what I'm saying? And then, that's in the middle of the NBA season. And you just can't depend on him. It's like, hey, listen, I get that you want to fight for all these causes and all that. That's what the summer's for, okay? They're not paying you $30 million a year to fight causes. It's one thing, use your platform. Use your platform, say whatever you have to say, support whatever you have to support. But at the end of the day, basketball pays the bills. And that's what you're there for. And I think that's where the problem is with Kyrie. Is like he's got all these things he's doing off the court, which is fine. But once it starts leaking into what you do personally as far as your job, that's an issue because Brooklyn is shopping him. Brooklyn is trying to find someone that'll take him on. But you're not going to get equal value back. And if you're Kevin Durant, you're mad. It's like, man, I should have stayed in Golden State.
Right.
Because I could be right now. I would have won another championship. I would possibly with that team now with the way it's constructed.
Yeah, win multiple.
They could have been. They might have put like kind of a Boston run.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, and Bulls Twitter's all aglow. Just very excited about the possibility that hey, maybe we could trade for Kevin Durant.
No.
And the problem for every team in the NBA is how do you come up with the right package of assets to swing that kind of a trade? But it's even more difficult for the Bulls because they traded 2 future firsts for Nikola Vucevic. They traded a future first for DeMar DeRozan. They don't have draft picks. And if Brooklyn is going to make this kind of a trade, which most likely they're not, they're going to want multiple draft picks in return. They're also going to say, you know what, we want Zach LaVine, we want Patrick Williams, and other teams are going to offer crazy packages as well.
Well, I mean, not too many people are going to be able to offer what they need. I mean, you're going to have to give up almost your entire roster, and if you're Brooklyn, you don't want anything less than that.
Right.
Okay,
yeah.
Because we've lost James Harden. And they thought, they think they won that trade. Okay. Now you got Kyrie Irving, like, he's he can opt in. That's what people don't know. He can opt in. It doesn't matter what Brooklyn does. He can opt in with his money. I think he'd be owed like $30-something million next year. But who's going to take that contract on? Who has enough assets to be able to take him on? And who's going to pay him max dollars when the opportunity presents itself? Listen. I'd have a hard time paying him max because he doesn't show up, and you never know if he's going to show up. And I can't pay him all that money if he's not going to play.
Well, there's talk he might go back to the Lakers and play with LeBron again.
Yeah, America.
You're not buying that one.
America. I'm perplexed there. You did everything you could. You had the guy playing with the guy. You guys had something special there. You decided that you didn't like being Robin to his Batman, and then you wanted to go on your own team. And you have failed miserably because he has shown that he can win a championship without you. You haven't shown that you can win a championship without him, as Shaq and Kobe. Shaq left. No one thought he could win a championship without Kobe. They both won championships. Kyrie hasn't even been close. Because he's always injured. He was injured in Boston. And then when those young kids, Tatum and Brown, started to ascend when he was sitting on the bench, he wasn't happy in that role. He didn't want those guys to succeed. He wasn't showing up to games. We were playing him in the playoff series. Didn't want him. They never showed up at the game. Never sat on the bench to support those kids. And then next thing you know, he leaves. He leaves on bad terms. The Boston fans hate him. It's just difficult to play with. If he just focused on basketball, I think he could be one of the top 10 players, in his generation. But right now, you just can't depend on the guy.
If you're watching the ESPN coverage, Commissioner Adam Silver is making his introductory comments, and we're waiting for the Orlando Magic to go on the clock. All the speculation is that Jabari Smith Jr. is going to be the number 1 pick, as we see them taking some shots at some people in the green room. But, Stacey, the reality is people love to dream. They would love to have Kevin Durant in Chicago. But
sometimes I dream.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But
sorry, America.
Unless Kevin Durant goes to the Brooklyn Nets, says, I want to go, and I only want to go to Chicago. Then that limits some leverage.
Well, but you're going to have to give up. You're going to have to give Zach LaVine. You're going to have to give a DeMar DeRozan. You're going to have to give up somebody. And then what if, because that could come later in the summer, but what if you already gave up your first-round pick and you gave up Kobe White? So now you've given up assets.
Right. Yeah, it's very unlikely. The most likely scenario is because KD and Kyrie Irving came as a package deal, they'll work something out, and those two guys will remain in Brooklyn.
They better.
For that franchise.
Because if I'm the Brooklyn fan base, if I'm the owner, I'm upset about this. Because, here we are. They probably paid all these money for season tickets, and these guys are never going to play with one another.
Well, you know what? I don't know if you can see them on the table, but we have some of Stacey's signature hot sauces out here, and they've been flying off the shelves, right, Whispers?
That's right.
Can we get more than one word out of you, Whispers?
So tell the folks what else they get when they order some of the signature sauces.
They do get a man card. They get some stickers, and they get some great sauce.
And right now, Stacey's special lady Dawn is whipping up some wings for
we're gonna try those out
with the special sauce.
With the special sauce, she is a tremendous cook, level 5 cook. I've always been around level 1 cooks.
Is that like DEFCON 5?
Yeah. Mark, there's levels to this.
Yes.
I used to think because a person can scramble eggs, that was the highest level
pretty
to go.
Yeah.
Make some pancakes here and there, grill a burger. But Dawn is like, she watches the show Chopped every night. Mm-hmm. Chopped every night. That's our night. We watch Chopped for an hour, and she's that kind of person. She could actually go on that show.
So at some point, we're going to bring the wings in here. It's going to get really sloppy and messy. And if you're watching on Twitch or YouTube, we appreciate you being here, first of all. And we're looking at some of the comments in here. If you've got some questions that you want to ask Stacey or Whispers, and that's always dangerous, send them in, and we will try to answer some of the best we can. Right now, Orlando is on the clock. They've got a little under 4 minutes to go. And the speculation is they're going to take Jabari Smith, who is drawing comparisons to some of the best small forwards in the NBA with his ability to shoot at all 3 levels and really a multidimensional scorer.
Well, I tell you what, he would be perfect for them because I'm not a Chet Holmgren fan. I'm sorry. I think I just think, what's the difference between him and Bobo? I'm serious. If you watch Bobo playing in the G League and some of the things he's doing, he can't get any minutes in Denver. I don't know why. But the kid can play. And this kid reminds me of Bobo. But, you saw Bobo play, he was
he played with the Windy City.
The Windy City team.
Yeah.
What did you think of him?
Painfully thin. He got pushed around on the block.
Was it painfully thin?
Yeah, I know.
Chet Holmgren.
7'1", 195.
Get that man a burger.
Rico Kasich.
With some hot sauce on it. Give me the hot sauce. Oh, cheap plug there, America.
Yeah, Bobo can shoot it, but he got pushed around at the G League level, so trying to go to the NBA is really tough. I think that Jabari Smith is a perfect fit for Orlando. They've got some size.
What just happened?
What the hell's going on back in the back? We have technical difficulties, America. This Whisper did something.
No, we're talking about Jabari Smith
yes.
and his fit with the Magic. They've used a lot of high draft picks in recent years. They brought in Mo Bamba and Jonathan Isaac and Franz Wagner. And here's a guy that could be a big-time scorer at the small forward position.
They have the right pieces to make a jump next year. They could have a huge jump next year with the players. Now, granted, they've got all the young talent they got. You look at Suggs at the point guard. You've got Cole Anthony. The Franz Wagner, in my opinion, was one of the best rookies in the league last year. They got him playing small forward. They're going to have a team with length kind of like Cleveland did. You know, Cleveland had those guys. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, dun 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 dun. We have done the great chef with some wings. Allah, America, can y'all see this? Can they see this?
Oh, my goodness.
You're
piping hot.
Can you see the wings, America? Oh, Lord. Where's my hot sauce team? Hot sauce team. Oh, Lord, look at these wings. Can you see them? Oh, Lord, don't fall on the table.
Yeah, I think we need somebody who's not talking
Ooh,
to sample
look at
some of
these.
those wings.
Are those made with 1871 or?
No. You're not, the 1871 is too hot. Okay, I tapped out like a UFC fight. 1871 is too hot, America. America, these wings, you can smell them.
So is there anything to what these guys wear to the draft? They could move them up and down with these clown suits? Because you're saying, hey, is this guy actually a clown?
I'm gonna tell you something. Listen, they get, them suits cost a lot of money.
I know, you were talking about Purple Rain earlier.
Yeah, Purple Rain.
That's a pretty serious suit.
Jabari Smith's suit is very calm and cool. Very nice. Oh, there he is. Purple Rain. Purple Rain. Purple Rain.
That's the selection? Wow, so Orlando shocks everybody. They go with Paulo Banchero instead of Jabari Smith. Some people said that Banchero is the most NBA ready at 6'10", 250. He's got an NBA body. Of course, he had a great one season at Duke for Mike Krzyzewski before he decided to go pro. And he's a guy that maybe not a great three-point shooter, but he can get to the basket and really make things happen.
I tell you what, he'll slide into that stretch four position. Look at their lineup. It's going to be. You're going to have Suggs at the point guard spot. If they go out and get a veteran two guard to go with Suggs, okay. 3 is Wagner is going to be your small forward. 4 is Banchero, and then you got Wendell Carter Jr., who really had a great year for them last year. Oh, we love to have Wendell Carter back. You got to give up something to get something, Mark. Okay, he played well for Orlando. That is a very nice 4 out of 5 starters right there to start off with.
Well, how about talking about a night of surprises? And the very first pick, the gambling odds whispers in Vegas were that Jabari Smith was going to be the first pick, and right off the hop, Orlando surprises everybody by taking the kid from Duke.
It's the Purple Rain comment from Stacey. That's what did it.
Hey,
See, it was the suit. I just asked about that. I'm pretty sure that was the case.
We're excited to be doing this live stream on Twitch and YouTube, and one of the folks who's participating in the live chat, a guy called I Poop Chipotle, which is a very classy handle. Says, my question is, how is Stacey going to ask how you post videos to Facebook when he knows how to live stream on Twitch?
I pooped Chipotle. I pooped Chipotle. Oh, Lord. You don't worry about that, son. Okay. You don't worry. You need to get some Pepto-Bismol. If you pooping Chipotle, stop eating there, son. Stop.
You got other things to worry about.
Hey, get some green in your diet, man. Get your green in your diet. No, trust me. I'll figure it out. Oh, we have some technical. Oh, Lord, where's the draft, baby? Oh, Lord.
Well,
that is a surprise pick.
They pulled a fast one.
That is a surprise pick because Houston, he was going 3 all along. It was supposed to be between Smith, and Smith was the bet-on favorite to go to Orlando.
Yeah.
Completely just changed everything now because now does Smith go to Oklahoma City? Or does Oklahoma City take
I think
Chet
they
Holmgren?
kind of fell in love with Holmgren. Sam Presti has got 1 million draft picks, and he's trying to build this thing from the ground floor up. My guess is they'll go with Holmgren because you got a 7-footer that you can kind of wait on his development. You're not trying to win anything anytime soon.
Man, I don't know, man. Because Josh Giddey has turned out to be a very, very good player. He's shown that he can play point guard at 6'8", and that's why you've heard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's name being thrown in trades. People are talking about moving. They're talking about moving him and trying to get a veteran player, bigger guy. So that might be in the cards. It might be in the cards.
Yeah, I think if you're watching the ESPN coverage, you can really see the purple suit for Banchero. And, when I watched him play at Duke, I thought he was good, but he didn't have that wow factor.
No.
He looked like a guy who'd be a solid pro, not somebody that would strike you as the first pick in the NBA draft. And obviously, the Magic are looking at all the pieces that they have in place that we talked about earlier, and they feel like he's going to fit the best. But to me, he's really a 4. He's nothing else. I think that Smith you could have maybe used at the small forward position.
Let me say this about Banchero. First of all, when you've got possible 4 5 first-round picks, it's hard to really stand out on that type of team because they have so much. Duke had so much NBA talent on that team. He did stand out, in my opinion. The games I watched, he stood out. You've got, A.J. Griffin. You've got, Williams there. I mean, you've got some legit first-round guys on that team, kind of like the Fab Five when those guys were at Michigan. There's so much talent there. How do you judge who's the best of that group? So I think for Orlando, what they needed, I think it was a good pickup for what they needed because they needed a guy who's versatile that can, they're looking for length. They're looking for guys who are big, strong, athletic. Their front office is always like length. You got to remember, too, though, Mark, you're also getting Jonathan Isaac back. He's going to be healthy this year. You got Cole Anthony coming off the bench. I mean, they've got some guys.
They still have Wendell Carter.
And you got to find out what you're going to do with Mo Bamba. Yep. He's a restricted free agent. Does this mean now they try to package up a deal and try to move? Hey, if you interrupt me one more time, it's going to be a throat punch. We're over here talking basketball.
I'm just trying to get a win.
First of all, he's over here handing out these cheap styrofoam plates. Last time I saw a plate like this, I was probably 3 years old at a birthday party. What kind of plate is this, man? Can we get some Chinese? Give me the hot sauce that's not broke, okay? We got money up here. Wait a minute.
Those hot wings are going to burn right through that little paper
America,
plate.
look at this, America. Yeah. Look, we got racks on racks on racks, and we eating out of this. Look, we eating out of styrofoam plates. Do they even make styrofoam plates anymore? Obviously do. Unless Tim had them in the back.
Yeah. Oh, the EPA banned those years ago.
Oh man, I'm done with
you.
Can
I get a wing?
I'm done with you.
You know what they're comparing him to on the national broadcast? They compared Paulo Banchero to Ben Simmons and Michael Beasley. Two guys missing in action. That's got to make the folks in Orlando feel really good.
Oh man, you know what? I mean, I wouldn't. I would probably say he's closer to Ben Simmons than Beasley. Michael Beasley. Yeah. This kid's got a huge upside. I mean, he can pass the ball. He doesn't have to run sets, and he can pass the ball. And he's a big, strong kid. Here comes Oklahoma City. With
it's the number 1 pick.
There you go, Chet Holmgren.
Oh, Chet, Rick Ocasek from the Cars.
He's an interesting guy. Even though he is so painfully thin, when you see him in interviews, he kind of puts himself out there like a tough guy. That he's not going to back down to anybody.
Well, he puts himself out there like he has confidence in his ability. Yeah. When you listen to him talk, I'm going to be an all-star. I can't wait to get the lead to go against Luka and all these people. Okay. Okay.
It's a man's league. No boys allowed in the NBA.
Exactly. Right. So, and you look at Smith right there, Listen, I know how that felt, man. America, I was supposed to go number 1 in the 89 draft to Sacramento, and I was in the green room just like that. And when my name wasn't called number 1, heartbreaking. And then you got to sit there and watch everybody. I was just hoping, I wouldn't have one of them Aaron Rodgers moments where you're the last one in there, everybody went home, and then all of a sudden the guy is sweeping the floor, and they say, "Oh, you still haven't been called?" It's like, that's terrible.
Yeah, how about our guys rolling in some Holmgren highlights? They're working hard.
I mean,
crew
you know
here.
What? Listen, this is what we do here.
And Maddie, don't mean to disrespect you there, Maddie.
Yeah, it's a hot sauce crew, man. They know what they're doing.
That's some good stuff. We appreciate the effort. They've been working all week to get us ready for this live Twitch show, so we hope you appreciate the coverage. Even if you're watching on ESPN, we can be your second screen. Everybody's got 2 or 3 screens going at the same time, right, yes. Whispers?
That's right. And I still can't get a wing. I don't know what's happening here.
America.
Slide the wings over to
Whispers. You want a wing?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get.
Oh, okay. Well, if you say something, I give it to you.
I wasn't trying to get a throat punch.
He's like the hell with this NBA coverage. I'm hungry. It's way past my dinner time.
Look at him. I made my comments. I'm good.
Oh man. Oh my goodness. I tell you, man. I didn't know he wanted to wing. He just passed me one of these cheap plates. I was like, oh my goodness.
So, Stacey, back to Holmgren. He's a guy that shot almost 40% on threes at Gonzaga, averaged about 4.5 block shots. He is an interesting prospect, and they also took a kid last year, that Pokashevsky kid who's painfully thin.
And they're about the same size. They might
need
to
play those two guys next to each other. What, they got a weight limit in the NBA now?
Listen, hey, I'm just going to tell you right now, America, if you live in Oklahoma City, they got a place called Whataburger. It makes some great burgers, and I want to see Chet and Polachevsky over there at Whataburger every day.
They got to fatten those guys up.
Yes.
Yeah. Man, we had to send some wings down to Oklahoma City.
Goodness. Yeah. You know what? Hey, listen, Oklahoma City's probably got more picks than anybody in the draft. they've got picks on picks on picks.
They got like 16 picks in the next 5 years.
He's got a vault full of picks.
Yeah.
And what he's doing, I can see what he's doing. The problem with Oklahoma City is that they're a small market team. They're not ever going to be able to pay the money that you have to pay superstars to play in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City has a great fan base. When they're winning, and they're supportive when they're losing, but when they were winning, when Kevin Durant there, I mean, it was awesome atmosphere, you know. So what they're doing is they're going to grow their guys, okay? And then they're going to move some guys. They're going to have to move to get some veteran guys. That's what
they
they're
need
doing.
to trade up and get impact players.
Yes, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to end up packaging some of these guys. They're going to, this kid's going to play a lot from day one. He's going to get out there and he's going to play 35, 40 minutes a night. The Gimme kid is real. He's the real deal. Exciting young player, got great size. I call him LaMelo Ball light. He's got that LaMelo Ball, he's big guard, can handle it, push it up the floor, sees the floor extremely well, can shoot it. I thought last year he kind of wore out of gas, because he was playing a lot, just like any rookie to hit that wall. We saw with Io. They run to that little wall a little bit and they get tired because they're not used to playing, an 82-game season, but I thought he picked it up at the end.
And they got a good backcourt with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Lou Dort. So they've got some pieces, but with all these draft picks, they got 3 first-round picks this year, and they've got multiple picks coming up. So how about Houston sitting there at 3, and they're going to get Jabari Smith, who might be a really nice fit with that team. They had Jalen Green as the 2nd overall pick last year. They also got a big kid late in the first round, Alperen Sengun, who played very well.
Oh, he's
for them.
nice.
Yeah.
He's nice.
So you put Jabari Smith in there, all of a sudden you got the makings of a nice young squad.
Well, you got rid of Christian Wood, Detroit, so you're lacking some size. This is a kid, Jabari Smith, that can come in. They say he's Kevin Durant. I look at him being a bigger Joe Smith. If you ever remember Joe Smith, he's got a little bit of Joe Smith in him. He's got the handles of Kevin Durant. He can play out on the perimeter. And with those 2 young guards, they got out there Jalen Green, who's going to be an exceptional player, and then Kevin Porter Jr., who's a very good player. So you got the makings of really getting some really good young players to develop in a couple of years. Houston is a place that is a destination that veterans want to go to. It's a great city to play. Fan base is good. I can see them picking up some guys.
Yeah, obviously we don't have the audio up on the ESPN feed, but one of our streamers on Twitch just mentioned that Chet Holmgren said on the national broadcast when they interviewed him that he was asked who his favorite NBA player was. He said himself.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, that's what one of our
said that in the draft?
JV Just Vibes on the Twitch chat said. That's what he said.
Okay, America. We're gonna see
how some hell to pay,
we're gonna see how this ages over the years. Okay, listen. There's one thing about being confident. There's one thing and have the confidence in yourself. But keep it real. You know damn well you're not your favorite player. Okay, you look in the mirror every day with your shirt off, and you're sitting there looking at your body, and you're saying to yourself, man. LeBron James. That's my favorite player. I want to be my favorite
just
player.
Be respectful.
Yeah, be respectful of the game.
Coming into the league.
Yeah, because you're going to a team where you don't have really no backup there. You're not going to a veteran-laden team. You're going to a young team. That's a team still trying to figure out what they're doing and where he's going to figure in. If he thinks he's a great player, I can only see him walking in and saying, just give me the ball.
Oh, my goodness.
Jabari Smith Jr.
While we're trying to do our job, Whispers is just destroying that wing ball.
Hey,
are they good? Are you enjoying them?
They're absolutely fantastic. You guys should have.
We probably there won't be any left when you're done.
Let me tell you something. America, inmate 7924, death row. Jesus, hey, he's on death row.
Last request.
Yeah, hey, man, he had last request. Give me a bucket of wings. Jeez. Free. What about the children from India and in Africa? We want to eat some too.
Oh, my.
There's going to be nothing left.
Well, while Tim is wolfing down wings, the Houston Rockets made their selection at number 3, and they're probably feeling pretty good about themselves to get probably the most dynamic wing scorer in Jabari Smith Jr., a 6'10 guy who can play the 3 and the 4. He is going to be nice in Houston.
He looks pissed. I'm
Yeah,
just going to throw that out there. He looks mad.
He does.
I'm going to tell you something. Good for him because he's going to come out with a chip because he thought he was the number 1 pick. Everybody said he was the number 1 pick, and then you went 3. And you could tell that he's not happy about that, and he's a talented kid. I tell you what, man, they might have got a really, really good young player. I don't think Houston thought that was how it was going to play out.
Yeah, and I think that it's going to be interesting to see how he fits with Jalen Green. Jalen Green got off to a bit of a slow start. He missed some games with some minor injuries, but he came back and finished the season really strong. Of course, they had John Wall on ice last year. He didn't play at all. These young teams, I think that's the big conundrum for a lot of these squads is you keep adding young players, and if you don't have any veteran presence, how do these kids learn how to play the NBA game? That's why we see the same teams over and over again in the lottery.
Well, and then, you hit the nail on the head. How do you learn how to be a pro? You guys coming in, they don't know what to eat. They don't know, how to take care of their bodies. When you have veteran players, look at DeMar DeRozan, the impact that he made on our young players last year. I mean, a veteran, I'm not talking about a veteran that can't play. I'm talking about a guy that can still go out there and get it. DeMar showed you last year, he was, all NBA second team. He can still go out and go get it on a nightly basis. But you saw how he took Io under his wing. This summer, working with Patrick Williams, having him out there in L.A. and really, getting him out there, teaching him how to be a pro and everything. That's awesome.
The Sacramento Kings are next up on the clock, and the speculation is that they might be interested in trading the pick because they're kind of overloaded at guards. They've got De'Aaron Fox. They drafted Davion Mitchell, but
they're going to draft another guard.
The best player on the board is Jaden Ivey from Purdue.
Sacramento.
And they have the longest streak in NBA history of not making the playoffs. 16 years in a row they've missed the playoffs.
They're going to draft another guard. They drafted a point guard last year, and I like Mitchell. I thought Mitchell came in and played, but there were so many other areas. You got De'Aaron Fox. You had Halliburton there.
Yeah, they traded him away.
And that was before they even knew they were going to trade Halliburton away. And so it's like, now you go out and get Sabonis, and you've got De'Aaron Fox as your point guard. You traded Buddy Hield to Indiana as well.
Right.
So you do need a two guard, because Mitchell's not a two guard. Mitchell's really a point defender. So you definitely need a two guard. Ivy, in my opinion, that kid's electric. Electric. He gets to the basket, and if he gets a step on you, you better watch your head and go get a bottle of Tylenol because he's going to put that ball on your head. He is explosive. So I would not be surprised if he's the pick because he definitely is a need for them.
Well, one scout said that in looking at Jaden Ivey, he said that when he comes into the league, he'll immediately be the second fastest player in the NBA behind Ja Morant. And people have compared Ivey, who's about 6'4". His mom, Nail, played college basketball at Notre Dame and is now the head coach at Notre Dame. People have compared him to Wade and Russell Westbrook. Those are some crazy great comparisons.
You know what? The kid grew up with a basketball in his hands. He loves to play. That's one thing you look at when you're a general manager. How much does this kid love to play? Is he playing for a brand? Is he playing for, cars and money? Or is this kid hungry enough he play for free? And this is a kid that would come out and play for free. And that's what you look for when you're drafting these kids is that how are they going to fit into your program and do they like to play? Do I have to tell him to get up extra shots every day? Do I got to tell him to come work on his game? Do I have to constantly hover over him as an 18, 19-year-old kid to come do the things that's going to make him a better player? And then what is the surroundings that he's coming into? Because if you're getting the same results every time you have the same players because you're getting young players with no veteran leadership, those players are not learning how to be pros.
Right.
Look at Wiggins. Look at the impact Golden State did for Wiggins. Oh, there it is. Oh, they drafted Murray.
They screwed it up again.
Oh.
I was watching a show earlier today, and they put up the picks that were taken right after Sacramento. They took Bagley and then Luka, and then Klay Thompson won a pick after them years ago. And they just mess it up year after year. And watch, Jaden Ivey will become an all-time great, and they took a safe pick. Small forward from Iowa, who's a very good player.
He's a very good player. Yeah. Very good player. He was supposed to go to Detroit. Mm-hmm. And now, the Central Division is going to be tough. Yeah. Because I have a feeling, I could be wrong, America, but I doubt it. I believe Ivy now is going to go play with Cade Cunningham in Detroit. Yeah. And that's going to be a backcourt of the future. Because if you go back and you look at what Cleveland did with their point guard, and we had him on here, Darius Garland, and they had, you got Colin Sexton there, dynamic backcourt, they're interchangeable. You got a 6'7" point guard in Cade Cunningham. Now you got a 6'4", 6'5" two guard that can go get it. Ooh, man.
And the kid from France, Kelley and Hayes, is probably going, Sacre Bleu, I'm heading back to Europe.
He's like, no, not draft him. No.
Because he's had a rough adjustment. He's been hurt at times, but he hasn't showed all that much in his first couple of years.
You know what? It's for the European players, it's tough to come over, especially when you're such a high pick. And Detroit really didn't do the kid any favors. They really shouldn't have traded Derrick Rose. They should have kept Derrick Rose on the roster because Derrick Rose still can play, and then he can learn how to be a point guard for under Derrick Rose for a year or two, and then you pass the baton to him. I think they passed the baton to him too quickly, and he just never has developed. That's the reason why they went out and got Cade Cunningham, because you now say, okay, we're gonna make you a two guard. Basically, you be off the ball, you know. But then how do you defend people if you're the small guard? The day of the small guard, man, is kind of leaving. You know, those guys there's not a lot of Chris Pauls out there.
Let's go back to Sacramento for a minute. How do you think Mike Brown is feeling right about now? Kenny Atkinson went back on his deal with the Charlotte Hornets because he wanted to stay with the championship Warriors. Mike Brown was the lead assistant. He accepted the job with the Sacramento Kings, and he's going, they screwed up another draft, and I haven't even started coaching yet.
Well, Mike Brown's looking back and saying, if I know what I know now, if I would have just stayed on the coaching staff and then seen Kenny cancel on the Hornets, and I could have jumped on that Hornets job because I got LaMelo Ball, and I'll get, you know what his dad says, you get a second ball, you're going to get the third one. So you get the second ball, and then now you get a third ball possibly. I'm going there.
Well, the word was that their owner, Vivek Ranadive, liked Keegan Murray. And when owners get involved, it always leads to problems.
Listen, this is why they struggle.
Yeah.
Because you make personal picks. You pay people to evaluate talent. You pay people to scout these kids. You pay to get the information for these kids. Vlade Divac really, really crashed and burned. He had a chance to draft Luka Doncic. You had a chance to get Trae Young, generational talents, but you let personal family business get in the way of your professional business, and that cost you Luka. If you get Luka, Sacramento is in the playoffs. And they had a good enough team to put around him. Harrison Barnes. They had some good players.
Bogdanovich.
Buddy Hield. There were some good players to play with him. That one player can make the difference in your franchise. Look what it's done to Dallas.
Yeah, they've messed it up royally, and now Mike Brown comes in, and he's going to have to put this all together.
Oh, Mike Brown. Listen, Mike Brown, keep your resume close. Because you know what? They always blame the coach. Yeah. It's always the coach's fault. I thought Malone did a great job when he was there. I thought my man Dave Yeager did a great job when he was there. And, because they couldn't control those coaches, they got rid of them. You can't do that, man. You got to put the confidence in your front office. You got to have confidence in your coaching staff, your scouts, and you got to let them do it.
It'd be really interesting at this point. The Pistons with Cade Cunningham and Killian Hayes don't necessarily need another guard. You wonder if a team like Washington or the Knicks, who are desperate for a point guard, might try to trade up here to 5 and find a way to get Jaden Ivey, which would be a home run move for one of those squads.
Oh, that's a good point, Mark. But I don't see them.
The Knicks are looking for a point guard.
The Knicks are looking for everybody. Okay, Knicks stink. Okay, I'm just going to be honest with you. Yeah. They got, first of all,
shout out to Master Luke.
Listen, Master Luke, you can sit here and I know you listen to the podcast. I know you're hurting right now that I said it. Your Knicks stink, okay? You're my friend, you're my boy, but they stink, okay? The problem with the Knicks is that they pick up players, first of all, in Tibbs' style of play that don't fit his style of play, okay? Julius Randle was an all-star with the Knicks. But Julius Randle's a black hole. When that ball comes in, it stops. The ball stops. It's isolation ball. Evan Fournier was not a good pickup because he didn't deliver what they paid him for. They paid him a lot of money to come in, shoot threes, and make shots. He wasn't able to do that. I thought the New York crowd had started booing him, and it started getting to some of these guys because in Orlando, you didn't get booed. You can lose every night. You're not getting booed in Orlando. Okay, I mean, it might get bad if Mickey and Minnie boo you. And that's when it's a problem. But if they're not booing you, you're good, okay? Knicks had some talent. Their second team, their bench was better than their first team, in my opinion. The kid, Derrick Rose was playing extremely well before he got hurt off the bench. Obi Toppin should be in the lineup.
There it is.
Yeah, there he is right there. America, you can't see him. Can America see that?
Of course.
No.
If you're watching the ESPN
they're watching
feed,
ESPN on the feed.
The pick is in for the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, it's Jaden Ivey.
We'll see if they announced it.
Yep.
Whispers is ahead of the game. What are you playing, Woj? You dropping a Whispers bomb?
That's right.
Oh my goodness!
I've got some inside info.
Here comes the pick that Tim has already announced, and it is Jaden Ivey.
Yes, Tim is
former Purdue star.
Look at the emotion. Look at the emotion, man.
He's crying like Tim did watching Top Gun Maverick.
That's right. You get emotional sometimes.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something, man. America, when you're at this draft, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't crying though. I didn't cry, but it's emotional. It's emotional for your parents, your family. It's an emotional thing. That's one thing I said I wasn't gonna do. It's like, I'm not gonna, because the camera's right in your face. They follow you all the way up there. There's two things you don't want. There's three things you don't want to do. First of all, you don't want to have a bullshit suit on. That's terrible. Okay, you go back and look at Karl Malone in the 84 draft, I guess it was 85 draft. He's got like a little tie on. It looks like you saw that. Remember?
Yeah.
Like a howdy doody tie, little cloth tie. Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. And you go back in my draft. Look at my suit, America. Oh, I was laced.
Yeah, you don't do bolos or seersucker. That's just a rule.
I was laced. I had a nice suit.
Don't be calling out Joakim Noah like that, Whispers.
I'm sorry. It just
listen. You know what?
It looked good on him.
You know what? Joe was a guest on the show, and now he may not ever be back on because you said that. You didn't ask him not one question. We had an interview, but you want to try to slander the guy. Boy, you a dirty dude.
I was out of town.
It's his mom. His mom's a WNBA coach. She's a WNBA coach for Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, during the NCAA tournament, they showed her watching in the Notre Dame hotel when he was playing for Purdue, and obviously she was part of a national championship team at Notre Dame. Back in my younger parts of my career, I went to South Bend. I remember interviewing her as a player when they were competing for a national title.
Well, I tell you, he's got some explosive ability.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. I'm telling you, Detroit is doing some things down there. They're doing some things that don't sleep on them. Listen, the same.
And they've got tons of cap space after this trade of Jeremy Grant, where they could go after DeAndre Ayton or some big time center.
And that's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So that may be, they may include Killian Hayes or a package, future first round pick Killian Hayes. They have some assets they can give up. They got Sadiq Bey there because now Sadiq Bey is a very good player for them. He's playing the 2-guard position right now. Now you got this kid. This may be a package for him, and to go get an Ayton or someone like that. That's why you keep these assets, man. That's why you got to keep them.
And people wondered about that trade. Jeremy Grant, a guy who can score 20 points in the league. They're like, why would you trade him for a future draft pick that you don't even know if it's going to be any good? They did it because they freed up enough cap space where the estimates are somewhere between $40 and $50 million. They could go after Ayton. They could go after Jalen Brunson. They go after Mitchell Robinson III if they don't get Ayton. So they're going to be doing some things to really try to round out that squad. And as you mentioned, they're in the Bulls division, which means you play them 4 times a year, and those are going to be some tough games.
And too, Mark, the problem with Jeremy Grant is he's going to command $20+ million. And, I mean, I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm willing to pay that, especially when I'm rebuilding. So that means you'll be stuck with this contract for 4 or 5 years, and you're not going to win. Is he going to be a guy that's a tipping point to help you win? See, there's teams that are different right now. Like the Bulls right now have basically their young players can develop under their veteran players, and if the Bulls go ahead and make some moves as we hear to strengthen the roster, who knows?
As if you're watching the ESPN coverage, you can see Jaden Ivey really having a tough time even trying to answer questions in the interview. And you got to feel for the kid because this is a lifelong dream that you fulfilled, and he's having a tough time.
Hey, let me tell you something. He's probably crying joy because he didn't have to go to Sacramento. Thank God. Please. Thank you. Detroit. I thought I was going to Sacramento all this time. They had me going to Sacramento. I just want to say thank you very much. Detroit, I love you. I can't wait to get to Detroit. Mom, I'm glad we ain't got to go to Sacramento.
He's going to be a hell of a player, I'll tell you what. This Jaden Ivey,
he's a great pick.
He is spectacular in the open court.
They're still giving him tissue.
If he develops a consistent three-point shot, he's going to be almost unguardable because he's almost a taller version of Ja Morant. I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Ja Morant, but he is lightning quick like Ja. The Pacers pick is in, and we'll see what they're going to do. It looks like they may be in for a full-scale rebuild, which is kind of strange that Rick Carlisle went from Dallas to Indiana, and people thought, well, he could whip that team into shape, but they have
Benedict Mathurin.
If you want to butcher that name some more,
what?
Ben Mathurin
from
that's Arizona, and here's another small forward who was considered to be a likely top 6 pick.
What did you call him?
Benedict Mathurin.
Oh my! Okay, we really
don't confuse him with Benedict Arnold.
Yeah, we may keep you from giving out the names, man.
I can't even get hot sauce in around here.
Hey, we got a whole table full of hot sauce.
We got a whole table full
you
of
want to
hot
open one?
No one's handing any to me.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Benedict III.
Crack open a bottle.
I'm going to.
That is
if someone hands me one.
That is
He's a good player.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've watched him play a number of times in Arizona. He's a very versatile,
Take the original.
small forward who can get out in the open court. He can score in transition. He's a really good defender. And there was a lot of speculation that he would be a top 6 pick. And how he's going to fit with the Indiana Pacers, they are really looking to rebuild. And there's talk that they may trade Malcolm Brogdon in the next couple of weeks. They might trade their big man, Miles Turner. And, they're really starting over. They brought in Tyrese Halliburton in the trade for Domantas Sabonis, and they got Buddy Hield in that deal as well. So any move is on the table for Indiana as they try to move back up. We may see a situation now where Detroit's on the rise and Indiana's content to sink down a little bit and try to get draft picks.
I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean,
Yeah.
you're the moving. They're trying to move Brogdon. You're trying to move Miles Turner. They moved Sabonis last year. I've been thinking they've been in rebuild mode for like the last couple of years, and then they go out and surprise you by bringing in a free agent where they pay a little money to. I think they're looking at you're in the same division as the Bulls, Milwaukee, and Cleveland. Those are the 3 best teams in the division, and they're going to be good for a little bit of time. And so you've got to ask yourself, do we try to compete against these guys now, or do we develop the guys that we have, try to get some younger players in here, develop, try to get some assets back, first-round picks, some picks later on? I think that's the mindset they're going, and they're also looking at Detroit. Detroit is taking their time. Give them credit, man. They're constantly drafting guys that are for the future, and they're not going to be rushed.
Hey, guys, can we get a camera on
man,
Whispers?
Jesus.
He's sampling some of the signature sauce, trying to
What are you doing
heat
there,
things
Tim?
up a little bit.
Well, maybe after this I'll say a name right.
Oh, my goodness.
I'd say the odds against that are not real good.
Probably not.
So you got the original hot sauce?
Got the original on there.
Yeah.
These wings are great. You guys should try one.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Me and Mark are working. We're constantly working. You're over here on the show just eating all the food up, buddy.
You got the easiest
Mark,
job
try
in
some
sports.
Wings, Mark. Try some wings, Mark. Me and Mark are professionals.
We're trying,
okay, we're trying to
keep
work.
the show going. While we're waiting for the pick to come in for the Portland Trailblazers, let's tell you about one of our great sponsors, one of our great friends, Jeff Vukovic. If you have needs for home, auto, or business insurance, make sure you contact our guy, Jeff Vukovic. He is the nationwide king of insurance. You can contact him at jeffvuk.com. That's jeffvuk.com. And before Stacey eats some wings, remember, Stacey,
Nationwide is on your side. Oh, I got a new mic, America. It's like a singing mic, baby. I feel like I'm Michael Jackson.
that's hotter than the sauce.
That was a little
Stacey's
creepy.
vocals.
What do you mean it was a little creepy?
See how I was handling that?
Wow.
Just look at him right now
Hey, man.
Who goes there?
I
Who
do.
goes there? The way I was there.
I
do.
do.
Okay, you know what? Your pink slip will be at the end of the table when the show's over. Ladies and gentlemen, this might be the last time you see Timmy Whispers on the show. He's a pervert.
Is that a promise?
He's a pervert. Sicko. Man, oh my goodness.
Hey, the Portland Trailblazers are on the clock, and the reason why they're of particular interest to Bulls fans is in the Bulls trade.
Go! Go!
Delicious.
America! Unbelievable, man.
While Stacey enjoys that wing, I'll get you caught up.
Go ahead,
speed
Mark.
with
I'm
that.
sorry, man.
On the trade that Lowry Markkanen was sent to Cleveland, one of the assets the Bulls got back was a future first-rounder from the Portland Trailblazers. That will convey when they make the playoffs again. They didn't make the playoffs this year. So if Portland improves, you want Portland to get better in the West, make the playoffs, and hopefully the Bulls get their first-round pick next year. That it is lottery protected, so Portland would have to make the playoffs for the Bulls to get it. Stacey wants to make sure he gets a little bit of extra hot sauce on his.
America.
That makes it.
America. You have no idea. Yeah, I feel like Jay and Ivy right now. You have no idea how these wings are so good. Oh, Chef Don. Oh, Lord.
And she brought the air fryer from home to treat everybody here. Did she bring enough for the crew, or Tim ordering some pizza?
I ordered some pizza too, but
Well, where's the pizza? You ordered from Italy? Where's it at?
yes, I did.
Man, it'll be here by now.
It's one of our sponsors, Lou Malnati's.
For real?
No, not yet, but we're working.
We're working on a deal. Yeah.
You can't be giving Lou no love right there, man.
Well, hey, I'm trying.
Well, he enjoys the product.
That's how we throw the line out there and see if the hook catches, and that's our method.
But we got this, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Water.
I thought it was vodka.
It could be. Nobody knows how dry I am. Nobody knows how dry I am.
Delicious.
Stacey's still off the alcohol, though, after the recent hip surgery.
Well, with the opioids, he's doing fine.
Hey, keep that on secret, man. Keep that on down low.
Keep that on the down
I'm
low.
back, America.
Don't be telling secrets.
I'm back.
Hey, Stacey, a number of people on the chat have been wondering about your thoughts on whether the Bulls will make a trade tonight. You think they'll try to move up, down, or just make their selection at 18 and call it a day?
The question is, who's going to be the first team to make a trade?
Nobody's done it.
No one's done it. No one's moved up. No one's moved down. You got to trust the process, man. AK and them doing what they're doing, man. I trust them 100%.
Kind of interesting. The Bulls have announced that after their draft selection, or at the end of tonight's draft, General Manager Mark Eversley is going to come to the podium, not Arturas Karnisovas. He does not like to go in front of the camera because he wants to keep his business to himself.
Shade and Sharpie.
Hey, listen. Hey, Tim, first of all, where are you getting this information from?
I'm just a little bit ahead of you guys.
And you know what? I'm sitting there. Who is he? Shade and Sharpie. I mean, who is he talking about? Shade and Sharpie.
No, it's Shannon Sharp, the Hall of Fame tight end.
Man.
Yeah, it's
Or
close.
Sterling Sharp, who played for the Packers back in the day. No, Shaden Sharp is a guy that was reclassified, went to Kentucky, but never played.
Never played.
Yeah.
And this is a pick based off of his athleticism and the last time people saw him in college. Now, I will give Kentucky and Coach Cal some credit. He has pro days at Kentucky. He brings people in to watch his players. So people got a chance to watch him. He's not no surprise pick, but I think it'll be surprise to people who don't know him.
Hey, have you seen his highlight reel? This kid can jump out of the gym. And it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to fit with that Portland situation. They're kind of caught in between. They need to try to strengthen the squad around Damian Lillard. That's why they made the trade for Jeremy Grant. But now you're taking a guy on potential. Who knows, maybe he's going to be involved in a trade to get some more veteran help. Because they've been after OG Anunoby of the Toronto Raptors, and that was maybe Toronto wants Shaden Sharp.
He ain't going nowhere. That kid's too talented. You hear Coach Cal talk about how not just his explosive ability, but how he can shoot the basketball. He can shoot from range. He's got great footwork. He's quick, explosive. No, he's not going anywhere. Damian Lillard, they're trying to build around Damian Lillard right now. I mean, you bring in Grant, who his dad played for Portland. So that's kind of a family type of situation. His dad Harvey played at Portland.
They'll probably try to re-sign Nurkic. He's a free agent.
Yeah, you got to. You can't. I mean, you don't want to completely rebuild unless that's what you're trying to do. If you're going to completely rebuild, you would trade Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard doesn't want to waste his prime years on a young, inexperienced team. He wants to at least be able to get to the playoffs and contend. He may not win a championship, but he at least wants to get to the playoffs. So if you're going to completely rebuild, Mark, you got to get rid of Damian Lillard, Nurkic, and sign. Anthony Simmons is a very good little guard. When Lillard was out with injury, he tore it up. He tore it up, and there's been a lot of talk about him. Portland Neil O'Shea would never put his name in a trade. Even when he wasn't playing, people wanted that kid. And he showed this year when given minutes and in consistency, he tore it up this year.
And Portland is one of those teams that always is kind of a good team, but not good enough to contend for championships. They've made the playoffs something like 18 of the last 20 years. They've been really good. And Damian Lillard has shown real allegiance to that organization. They traded his running mate, C.J. McCollum, to the New Orleans Pelicans, and he said, "No, I'm going to stay here," because a lot of people thought he was going to try to force a trade.
Well, and Damian Lillard is loyal. He's loyal, and all he wants from the organization is to be loyal to him. He's not one of these superstar players that says, "Hey, get me, go. If you don't get this guy, I'm leaving. If you don't go get me two superstars," he's like, "Hey, this is who you got. I'm going to make the most of it." When both him and C.J. McCollum were playing together, they were two of the best backcourts in the NBA. I mean, high scoring. They just didn't get anything else from anybody else. That was when they were missing a small forward. They just could never address that issue. They had the two guards that could score 50 each, but just never had that small forward. Nurkic was hurt. So they didn't really have a big man. And if they would address those issues right there, Mark, I think you still could have kept C.J. McCollum, get you a small forward type of player, and they'd have been right in the mix.
The New Orleans Pelicans, their pick is in, according to the ESPN coverage. Whispers, you're way ahead of the game. You got the Pelicans pick yet?
I'll tell you in just a moment.
Did you see the video, the picture of Zion? They showed a shot of him working out with some guys.
It's photoshopped.
He looked pretty good.
It's photoshopped.
What do you think about Zion?
He had the fat suit on that James Harden did. You know, James Harden.
Took it
James
off.
Harden in Houston was all chubby. Then he goes, first game, and first time I saw him at practice in Brooklyn, he took it off. Like he took the suit off. That's Zion.
I mean, the Pelicans were able to get into the playoffs without Zion last year. Brandon Ingram was outstanding. McCollum, who came over from Portland in the trade, really helped them. And they've got some good young pieces as well, so it's going to be interesting to see what direction they go, because the Western Conference, some teams are going to be coming back. Denver's going to be a lot stronger next year. I think Portland's going to be improved. New Orleans has got to show that with Zion, they can really be something special.
They got a chance. I mean, you know, he's explosive. I mean, he's a generational talent, you know, but he's already made a commitment to New Orleans. He's already said, I don't want to leave. I want to sign the extension. So he wants to be there. That was the big question was whether Zion wanted to stay there or not. But I think after he saw the way they played and that there's a good team, Brandon Ingram there, you know, C.J. McCollum.
You were right, Stacey. Dyson Daniels.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy from Australia, an international player who played in New Zealand last year. About 6'7", 6'8", he can play both guard positions, and people say his biggest skill is his passing ability.
And he can defend. He's a very good on ball. Dyson Daniels is a very good on ball. He looks like the Silver Surfer. he should get up there with a surfboard and a Silver Surfer. Oh my goodness.
It'll be interesting to see where he's going to fit with this New Orleans squad. Obviously, being a young guy with not a lot of big game experience, he played for the G League Ignite last year. We've seen Jalen Green come from that program and have success in Houston with the Rockets. He's going to have to learn the NBA game a little bit before I think he can really make an impact.
You know what? Oh, he's a talented kid. I mean, you know, he'll be 19 years old, and you know, it's one of those things where these kids are getting younger and younger and younger, and you're basically, you know, you're drafting them on the potential of what they can be. It's a penalty now if you stay in school 4 years. Jeez, you know, you come out of college now, a 4-year player, you might not get drafted, which is a shame. You know, the NBA would rather take a kid 18, 19 that hasn't played against the competition or shown that they can play at a certain level. The good thing about this kid is he played in the G League. All these kids who got a chance to play in the G League is way better than them going overseas playing in Australian League or New Zealand League. He's got good size. He can shoot the basketball. But I think the biggest thing for him is his versatility because he can play both guard spots.
They just showed on the broadcast Adam Silver greeting him at the podium, and he probably was asking him, "Where'd you come up with that suit?" What was your conversation like with David Stern? What did he say to you?
You know, Dave was a good dude, man. Dave, I mean, that's all. When you dream about being up on that stage, you know, the whole thing is about. Like I said, there's a couple of things you don't want to do. One, you don't want to have a messed up suit on. Okay. Number two, you don't want to fall and trip as you walk up the stairs. And number three, you want to meet David Stern and have him shake your hand. Now it's Adam Silver, but this is what you dream of when you watch the draft. And all these kids, you know, fulfilling their dream. And I remember jumping in the cab. My mom and dad were with me in New York. And my mom was so scared with the way the cab driver drove in New York City. Like, she had never seen that before. And, like, she's like, is there a way we can just walk? Can we just walk to Madison Square Garden? They're like, oh, we're good. And my dad's like, honey, we're good. We're here. I'm sitting back there just laughing because she, you know, the cab driver was just awful. I mean, we're literally, you know, you've seen how they drive in New York.
Oh, yeah.
It's a totally different vibe with the cab drivers. But it was a lot of fun, though. A lot of fun. This is great memories for these kids. And I got interviewed by Craig Sager before Craig Sager was Craig Sager that we all know.
Really took off.
He was. It was on. You know, good thing talking to him. And then after you get off the interview process, I got a chance to talk to Doug Collins, who was the coach at the time. And I got a chance to talk to him how excited he was. That was like on a TNT conversation, but it was a lot of fun. It goes by quick if you get picked in that top 10.
How was Sager's suit?
How
was Sager's suit?
No, he was normal back then.
Yeah,
he
didn't go with the outlandish.
Hadn't lit it up yet?
No, he hadn't did that yet. But when the problem is, though, is like when you're a guy that's projected in the top 10 and then you end up going in the 20s, that's when you like, and you saw Jabari Smith. He really was upset that he didn't go number 1.
What do you think the biggest challenges are for kids that played international basketball? Is it the speed of the game? Is it the strength of the players? What do you think the biggest adjustment for those kids are?
Both the speed and the strength. The NBA game is super fast. Because you play in these overseas leagues against grown men, that's a little bit better than the college game, I think. I think when these kids come over, like Luka and those guys who've been playing against grown men since they were 13, 14 years old, that is an advantage compared to the kids that are in college playing against college kids that are 18. So they come over with a little slight advantage. And then, when they get over here, I think their biggest adjustment is the speed of the game. Because they're not used to seeing guys, like De'Aaron Fox and Westbrook running and flying all over the place. Big guys that can step out and shoot threes, put the ball on the floor from 18, 20 feet and take you to the basket and dunk.
They're showing on the broadcast some of the key players of the Pelicans. The one guy we didn't mention was Herb Jones, who they got in the second round last year. Really a good defensive forward, and I think he fits in really well with the other guys that want to be scorers. All he cares about is trying to shut down the opposition.
Those are the kind of guys you build championship teams with. He accepts his role. He knows coming up, being a starter, my job is to stop people. He relished that role last year, was really good at it, all rookie team because he did that. And he's going to be a very, very good player for New Orleans.
Now we get to the really interesting part of the draft where two teams that were actively looking to move the pick, Washington at 10 and the Knicks at 11, both of them seeking out some veteran point guard help. We mentioned Malcolm Brogdon is one name that's been in circulation. They're looking for somebody that can really help them. And with the Washington situation, Bradley Beal has a player option for one more year, and the speculation is he's going to opt out and choose free agency. Washington is kind of rebuilt. They brought in Hachimura and other young players over the last couple of years, and they're kind of caught in between. With the East getting so strong, I don't think they're going to be a playoff team anytime soon, so maybe Bradley Beal looks to go somewhere else for next season.
Well, it comes down to what Bradley Beal wants to do. Do you want to win, or do you want to be part of your team, helping your team build up to win? You want instant success now, or do you want to continue to be a building block and a bridge to the next level for the Washington Wizards? They have made some moves to get guys, but at the same time, these guys are sitting here watching these other players get to the playoffs. I mean, think about it. You're sitting at home. I never had that feeling. I never had that feeling sitting back, except when I was a kid watching Larry Bird and Dr. J and all those guys. But when your season's over and you got to sit at home and watch the playoffs
it's no fun.
And watch guys that you go against every day, that doesn't sit well with you. Especially a star player, that does not sit well with you. So Bradley Beal's probably tired of seeing guys keep getting to the playoffs and getting in winning championships, and he's nowhere close.
Yeah, I can understand his frustration, and the organization has made commitments to him that they were going to try to improve the squad, and yet they keep getting younger and younger as each season goes by. Washington is up after San Antonio. The Spurs have 3 picks in the first round, and you got to wonder about Greg Popovich. There's a lot of speculation this is going to be his last year coming up, and he's not going to want to go through a major rebuild there.
Well, I mean, I saw, like I said, I don't believe in rumors till they happen. Okay, there's a rumor out there that they're talking about trading
DeJounte Murray was an all-star last year
with Collins from Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. Why?
Yeah, it doesn't make it any better.
Because he was first-time All-Star in San Antonio this year, and I like John Collins, but I don't want to give up my point guard to get him. Do I got some other pieces, some other assets that I can go get him and make that trade? That's the thing that you look for. But man, I mean, where's he going to play with Trae Young? Are you going to play Trae Young off the ball now and say you're going to be a 2? You still got Bogdanovich. Is he going to be in the move as well? I mean, how does that work?
I saw Trae Young on Twitter put something out today saying that tonight's the night everything changes. Athletes like to put out these cryptic tweets, but I'm sure he's been told by his front office, listen, we're going to make some moves and we're going to get you a team that can contend in the East. But the East is so strong with Boston and Milwaukee and Miami and the Bulls. It's going to be tough for a team like Atlanta to really make a big jump next year.
Mark, they're not that far off.
Yeah.
They're not. You don't go from the Eastern Conference Finals to the next year. You struggle, for whatever reason. And a lot of I said this was going to happen to both them and the Knicks. They were the 4 and 5 seeds, 2 years ago. Atlanta gets all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. New York, again, a 5th seed, gets to, the second round, I guess. But I knew they were going to have sophomore jinx, because what happens a lot of times is like young players who are not supposed to be there, you surprise everybody. You're feeling good about yourself in the summertime. You're not working out as hard. You're not doing, you're not focusing on getting better as an individual player because you're partying, you're on the boats, you're shooting, IG videos. And I mean, you look at, I look at John Morant. John Morant, they lose to Golden State. I mean, John Morant is everywhere. He's on IG, he's having house parties, he's having all those things, and he's, tweeting against Golden State and saying things against Golden State. Whereas, you don't need to do that. You're a superstar player. Your team, had John Morant not gotten hurt against Golden State, I believe Memphis wins that series. And I think Golden State knows that. I think now, with the way it's played out, everybody thinks Memphis is the team next year. No, you're not, because Golden State has some people in the back waiting to come to the front.
Ready to step up,
and those guys got opportunities in the playoffs this year to play. Kuminga, you got Moody that's coming off, who's a very good player.
And Wiseman coming back.
And Wiseman coming back. So they've already been reloaded. And you're going to have Klay Thompson be the Klay that we've seen. Klay Thompson this year was just getting back to form of the Klay that we all know. But next year, year 2 from the injury, he's going to be a completely different Klay. He's going to be back to being the Klay Thompson he once was, where he's dropping 40, 50 points a game and hitting big shots all the time. So Golden State ain't going nowhere anytime soon.
We got a couple of updates for you. San Antonio made their selection at number 9. They took power forward Jeremy Sochan from Baylor. Here's a guy that was a defensive specialist for Baylor. He's a guy that does all the dirty work. People are saying if he can develop a consistent outside shot, he could be something special. People are looking at him as a Dennis Rodman type, a very versatile defensive player, and he's the guy that I'm sure Greg Popovich will like right away. He grew up outside of London, so he's got a very interesting background, another international guy coming over trying to make his mark in the NBA. So now the Washington Wizards are on the clock. And another update for you, Whispers is back. The hot sauce kicked in. He's on beer number 6.
That's right.
How you doing over there, Whispers?
I'm feeling really good.
We may be losing.
And the
Whispers.
pizza finally showed up from Italy.
Oh, did it?
Oh,
Yes.
my goodness.
That's what I had to run out for. And
you ran out there and didn't bring any in.
Yeah.
not yet, because saw how you treated the wings.
Selfish.
So you want
So
some of that-
somebody was asking us on the Twitch chat, did you see Casey's tweet, that being the great Casey Johnson, the venerable reporter for NBC Sports Chicago. And I just found it, and he says the Bulls are active in both move up and move down discussions, but nothing has gained traction yet. In the move down situation, Bulls are eyeing to remain in the first round while picking up another asset. That is per sources. So, it's kind of what we expected. They're going to see what kind of value Kobe White has in possible trade discussions. And I don't think, Stacey, that you want to necessarily cash in a guy that has that kind of skill set, who was the seventh overall pick back in 2019, to move up 2 spots. You know what I mean?
No, and shooting is a premium in the NBA now. You have to have shooters. And Kobe White arguably is the Bulls' best shooter. I know right now people are listening to this podcast going, who, what, when? But he is a big-time scorer, okay? Kobe, the problem with Kobe is, and, this has to, it's not all on Kobe.
Right.
Okay, it's not all on, because the coaches have to figure a way to utilize Kobe to enhance his skill set. Kobe's not a point guard. Okay, let's just be real. He's not a point guard. He was drafted as a point guard out of North Carolina. He was the point guard at North Carolina. Kobe is great at point guard when you allow him to play end-to-end, super fast break transition. The Bulls are not a transition team. So, therefore, you take that skill set that Kobe had at North Carolina that made him a very good player at point guard. You take that skill set away from him. Now he has to play in a half-court set. He's not comfortable being the point guard in a half-court set. So that's why you saw Io play a little bit more point guard in the second half of the season with all the injuries and the COVID situation, and Kobe played off the ball because Kobe is a scorer. Kobe can go out there and get you 30. You know, it's not like, oh, wow, he got lucky and scored 30. No, Kobe is capable of putting up 30-point games from the perimeter and shooting the ball.
And no one would have thought that they would acquire Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, and Ayo Dosunmu in the same offseason, which kind of really cut into Kobe's role.
We had too many guards. Yeah. We had too many point guards last year. You know, but Kobe, in my opinion, if you want to utilize his skill set, you make him a Jamal Crawford type player. He's going to play 30-something minutes off your bench. He's going to come off be an automatic bucket getter, get you going, get your second group going, get you in a flow, get the crowd into it because he can hit those deep threes, those pull-up jumpers. He can get to the basket and score either hand. He's 6'5". It's not like he's too small to play two guard. I mean, two guards in this league are 6'5". So he is a typical two guard. And I just for my personal opinion, I think that that's where he needs to play.
And the Bulls just aren't going to give him away. If it's not something they're going to move up significantly in the draft to get a guy they want, or maybe a trade for a veteran big later, we'll have to watch that. But there's one great comment in the Twitch chat. A guy named Too Fresh Turo says, "Whispers way more red than usual."
Wow. The human hot dog.
Yeah.
Johnny Davis to the Wizards.
A.K.A. Larry the Lobster.
Okay. Well, got a little sun this past weekend.
Yeah, we can tell.
And the hot sauce.
We can tell.
And the beer.
Couple of brewskis, high blood pressure. Probably some internal issues going on.
It's a great combination.
Yeah.
And you also
got Johnny Davis. Yeah, that's right.
He's playing Woj here tonight. So the Whispers bomb. Johnny Davis, the Big Ten Player of the Year, goes to the Wizards.
So I put you guys on slower internet, and I took the fast one.
Yeah.
I ain't lying. This is like the Slowskis. I'm just looking for a turtle to walk across and say, "Speed up the internet." That's what I'm waiting for. Johnny Davis.
What do you think about Johnny Davis going to the Wizards? And if Bradley Beal leaves, he could step right into a big role.
You know what? That's a good pick for them. He's 20 years old. The kid can shoot the ball. He can play combo guard. He's got good range, good size. He loves to play. And he's confident. He's got a lot of confidence in himself. And he played in a good program, played in a good conference. So, yeah, that's a good pickup.
And he's already got a major endorsement deal with the Taco Bell commercial. He does a nice job on that.
Yeah. Oh, that's him?
The bell rings and he walks out and gets a peace sign and he's peace out.
Oh, okay.
That's Johnny Davis.
Okay. Okay. Oh, he played football. Okay, so he got a football mentality. I like that.
Tonight he showed up with a red suit with the tuxedo stripe down the pants. Said he's representing the University of Wisconsin.
Okay. All right, Johnny D. Okay. A good pick for them.
And his whole claim to fame originally was being as a defensive specialist, and then this year he blew up. He played for the Team USA. He said he didn't even think he'd make the squad. Wound up playing for Team USA, really blossomed as a scorer, took that into the season for Wisconsin, and really carried that program.
What do you have to say, Whispers?
I think he looks a lot like Trae Young.
Yeah, there's some similarities. Don't stop. Don't talk about hair.
I'm saying nothing. Yeah, I'm saying nothing.
What do you think of those hats? Those hats are bad, though.
No, he kind of reminds me of Killian Hayes.
Think he speaks French?
No.
But you do.
Parlez-vous? Je t'aime très très beaucoup.
Venez voir ma chambre.
Is it parents?
Yep, I hope so. I hope it's not two strangers that walked in and sat next to him.
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible, Mark.
Well, he's got a monogrammed lapel. That's pretty good.
Yeah. The suits are
plum.
Yeah, no, that's red.
No,
that's Wisconsin color, right?
That's plum. That's not even burgundy.
As you're watching the highlights of Johnny Davis in action, as I mentioned, he was the Big Ten Player of the Year, averaged over 20 points a game, which is hard to do at Wisconsin because they play a pretty slow style. But Davis was one of the most impressive players in the Big Ten last season, and it showed the strength of the conference. You get Ivy, you get Keegan Murray, and you get Johnny Davis all in the top 10.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Where's that dog collar that can shock him? I bring that I bring that every week just in case I got to put it around his neck. A little dog collar that shocks you when you misbehave. That's what we're doing to Tim now. Every time he says something, we got to shock him.
Hey, Stacey, on Twitch chat, a guy named Chicago RM says he needs hot sauce. Why don't you tell the folks how they can get some hot sauce?
Oh, hey, this is This
is the easy part.
Yeah. Tim, here you go, Tim. Tim, read it.
Come on.
This is Tim's read. This is Tim's
Larry
read.
the Lobster.
Go ahead, Larry Lobster.
All right. That's because I'm red like hot sauce.
I'm going to have a wing while you.
Yeah, help yourself, Mark, because it's going to take an hour for him to read it. So go ahead and eat some wings.
All right.
If you like hot sauce like Mark over here and Stacey, and I think he dribbled a little bit on his wing over here, and you're listening to the right show. Give me the hot sauce. That's the best small batch organic sauce.
I woke up. Oh, thank you.
Spice up your kitchen. Like,
yeah, you should have scared a little 80-year-old woman who was watching the.
Oh, you got to wake some people up.
Oh my God. You're killing me, Smalls.
Chicago-style red sauce with a garlic twist, or St. Pat's Verde with some cilantro and some extra avocado.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And the King's
These wings
Q.
are great, by the way.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm sleeping.
And the really hot 1871. You want to spice it up?
Hey, Stacey, you'll love this. On the Twitch chat, a guy named the 3 Brown Note says, Whispers always has that weekend at Bernie's smile.
Is he Bernie's? Is he the dead guy?
The dead guy, yeah.
That's probably that's probably
wow.
true.
That's terrible, man. Come on, get off my man Whispers.
That's too funny.
Oh wow, that's a good one though. It does.
Yeah,
look like
that is
it.
good.
It does look like him.
Oh.
I hope you're having fun on the Twitch chat. We're enjoying reading some of the comments by everybody.
All right, and the King's Q.
Oh, you're still reading?
Yeah. Spicy and hot like you.
It's done. Oh my God.
Bring it home, Whispers.
Bring it on, Whispers.
Use Hot Sauce 21 to get 21% off your first order. That's Hot Sauce 21 at GimmeTheHotSauce.com. That's GIMME.
And let me create a word picture for you. Tim runs a business here at Telleray. He's very successful in what he does. But late at night, when everybody's left, he goes back into the closet and he makes special packages of the 3-pack of hot sauce.
That's true.
So picture Whispers. He's always got 2 kegs of beer going at the same time. So
Cheers.
So here's Tim back there on his 5th or 6th beer, trying to get the sealing tape over the packages and going, damn, I forgot the man card. And he has to reopen it and do it all over
That's
again.
why the orders get screwed up, but it's such good sauce, it doesn't matter. People are like, I didn't order 1871.
Yeah, America. Yeah, he's the hot sauce packer. He packs it.
That didn't sound right for some reason.
He's packing hot sauce. That's what he likes to do. He's the hot sauce packer.
Well, it's like when Joan Crawford was a spokeswoman for Howard Johnson. Remember what she used to say?
What?
Let's eat out, ladies.
Wow.
That's just a fact.
Wow. She said that for real?
Check your history.
Tim, you can put that on your business card.
Yeah.
You're now the hot sauce
You're
packer.
the hot sauce packer. Loves to pack that hot sauce.
Well, I do have a quote on my business card that says, I bet you didn't know we handled these.
Wow. You handled these.
And then just let that go.
Yeah, we're gonna let that one go. As you can see, America.
Yeah, our guy, the sign guy just waited. He said, that sounds so wrong.
Yes.
Oh, who got drafted? Where you at?
Oh, yeah, the Knicks made another shocking pick.
Yeah.
Tibbs is throwing things at the wall because they took a developmental kid.
Ousmane Dieng.
Dieng. Wow. He played for the New Zealand Breakers. He's a 6'10 forward who I guess did really well in team workouts, but he's 19 and he's a project. And we know how much Tibbs loves rookies.
Listen, Tibbs didn't make this pick.
No, I know.
Okay, this is the New York Knicks front office.
They're trying to drive him out.
Listen, they're slowly pushing Tibbs out.
He give me a hot sauce packer.
Mark, they're pushing Tibbs out. His heels are dug into the ground, and he doesn't want to go. But they keep picking all these kids, and he doesn't want. He's gonna be a hot sauce packer. We'll have a job for you, Tibbs, baby. Oh my God! I'm telling you, that was not a Tibbs pick. No freaking way.
Oh my goodness.
No way. No way. No way.
Well, maybe they told Tibbs it was Luol Deng's brother.
Hey,
You play him 45 minutes a night.
he's like, it doesn't look like Luol.
Wait a minute. It's not Dang, it's Jang. Somebody's pulling a fast one on me.
I got him.
Man, Tibbs is gonna put the little hair that Tibbs got is gone. It's gone right now, man. It's gone. Yeah. Hey, he gonna look like the little pizza man on Pizza. He's
gonna look like Buddy Lee.
Caesars. He's gonna be a Little Caesars man. I tell you, that is not his pick.
He's gonna be
not
Buddy
his
Lee.
pick.
Oh, wait a minute. We got some in the Twitch chat saying the Knicks are gonna trade it to OKC. Can we confirm that, Whispers? Come on, get on your.
Give me a second.
Now that would make sense because OKC takes nothing but developmental players. Maybe they got Shea Gilgeous-Alexander for him. No, that wouldn't happen.
Tibbs was punching the air when they picked it. Yeah, he was upset. He might have been crying like Ivy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, see, we're at a disadvantage here because we don't have the volume up. Yeah, I don't know if anybody's listening to it. Did Matty Ice? They trade that pick?
Yes, they traded.
Okay, we're getting things very slowly. We don't have.
It hasn't popped up here.
We've got Whispers.
Yeah,
in the
Whispers.
Woj.
I'm sorry. My feed didn't give it to me yet.
For, Mark?
Oh jeez.
Dun, 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 dun. God.
You know, Chet Holmgren was number 2, just to let you guys know.
Shit.
So make sure you guys were up on everything.
Here we go. Multiple first-round picks for Ousmane Dieng. Not related to Gorgie Dieng.
No.
Who used to play for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Gorgie.
Yeah, so I guess that's a surprise, in all facets. That first of all, that the Knicks were going to make that pick, but they apparently didn't want to add another player to the squad, which is the Tom Thibodeau way. He wants veteran players. One of the things going on with Tibbs is he hired Rick Brunson as an assistant, which naturally led to speculation that Rick is somehow going to convince his son Jalen to come to the Knicks as a free agent.
Pipe dream.
Yeah.
It's not happening. Mark Cuban is not letting that kid go.
Oh, he played great.
He's not letting Jalen. Now listen, hey, Bulls Nation. Dun, 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 dun. We're going to have Jalen Brunson on next week.
That's right. We'll get to the bottom of this.
We'll get to the bottom of this. I don't see it happening just because of the fact that he was the number 2 scorer. Luka needs guys that can play off the ball. And both him and Spencer Dinwiddie did a great job in the playoffs. They won a Utah series because of those guys. When Luka was out with the injury, and they didn't know how long he was going to be out. And Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie basically carried him through that Utah series.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Dallas does. They made the trade to get Christian Wood, and I saw some video of Luka pushing a sled, doing some weight training. I think he's going to come back determined after he got a taste of going to the conference finals, and now he's going to be a little more serious with his offseason conditioning.
Well, he has to, because the last couple of years he comes in not in the best of shape, and it takes him, months to get in shape, and then by the playoffs he's ready to go. But in order to be a great player and to be, this guy is an MVP candidate every season. He's going to be an MVP candidate every season. And in order to be that type of player, you've got to come in and be there for your team to start the season, not missing games because you got hamstring injuries. Because normally when you get groin pulls, hamstring injuries, just ligament, not ligament damage, but muscle injuries. Those are because you're not in shape. And, you see James Harden with the hamstring injury when he came over from Houston. He struggled with a hamstring injury, and I don't think James Harden's ever recovered from that, to be honest with you. I just don't. And so you got to come in better shape. And so I think that's what the message was for him. And if you want to get other quality players to come and play with you, they got to know that they can count on you. If I come to Dallas, I know Dallas is a great place to play. You got a great
Jalen Williams.
Oh, who's that?
OKC. Jalen Williams. Another guard.
From Santa Clara. He was the guy that was really rising.
I'm going to tell you something. Hey, that's the guy that was really shooting it up because he was supposed to be 18 on down. Mm-hmm. And the one thing they were questioned about him was the fact that he didn't have that quick twitch athleticism, but he could do everything else. He could shoot. He's a 3-and-D guy. That's a great pickup.
What if Malachi Branham slides to 18? Would you take him? With the Bulls?
Man,
We've got
Mark,
so many guards, I know.
Mark, we got too many guards.
Yeah.
If he's the best available player and the Bulls feel like this kid's got star potential, but where are you going to play him? Billy Donovan, you got Zoe, you got Caruso, Zach, DeMar. Where are you going to play? And you got Ayo. Where are you going to play another guard? We're already small as it is, and I think the basic thing that the Bulls wanted is to get big, get a rim protector, and a shooter.
And this kid, Jalen Williams, as we mentioned, was a workout warrior. As he went from city to city doing individual workouts and doing interviews with teams, they really fell in love with him. He's the classic 3-and-D kind of guy that teams really want in the modern NBA. A really good defender. He can score at all three levels. And, you know, you just wonder, though, what Oklahoma City is really up to. If they had made this trade for Ousmane Dieng to go with Chet Holmgren, and they have another pick in the first round. I mean, how many young players can you use? And then they have all these draft picks coming up. At some point, you got to bring in some veterans to help these guys.
They got enough assets. I mean,
they sure do.
They've got enough assets to swing some big moves, and they got enough cap space. That's one thing, because these guys are all on rookie contracts, so they got a lot of money to spend. It's going to come down to, again, this is a problem that Oklahoma City has. It's a problem that San Antonio has. Milwaukee has kind of broken that mold of being a small market team. They've been spending money on people, so they've kind of got out of that small market type of situation. But that's the problem you have with like teams like Oklahoma City, Utah. You know, how much money are you willing to spend to compete for a title? How far are we away from competing for a title? Oklahoma City is, thousands of miles away from competing, but the assets that they have could really close the gap on that very quickly.
Yeah, they were saying on the broadcast that he's the first Santa Clara player to be drafted since Steve Nash. That's a long time ago, 1996. Wow. And you know, sometimes you can strike gold with these mid-major guys, and it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to fit. But they've got so many young guys there. The question is, how do you find playing time for all of them so that you can develop them at a meaningful level? And, you know, we joked about the fact that they got the 2 string bean 7-footers in there. It's just an odd mix of players, and you wonder if they're ever going to be able to be super successful with that kind of blend of players.
I don't know. I mean, you know how it is with young players. I mean, you don't have veterans. You don't have guys that you can bring in. I mean, they had Al Horford there, you know, for a season and like basically put him on ice like he was a caveman. Like, you know, I mean, the guy is a consummate professional. Like, you didn't even play him. You sent him home and said, hey, don't even come back, and which that was very odd. And then, you know, you see Al Horford go to Boston and almost have a chance to win a championship. You need good veterans that can play. It's okay to have those guys, the veterans that are like at the end of their career and they're only going to play a role for you off the bench. But it also is good to have veterans that can actually come in and still play, because they can learn how those veteran players prepare, the preparation that they do, you know, for practice, for the games, all that. Those are all invaluable learning experience for these kids.
Yeah, I thought that Jalen Williams might have been a possibility for the Bulls at 18, but he's off the board, and now the Charlotte Hornets are going to have a couple of picks. They pick at 13 and 15. The speculation is Williams, Mark Williams, the center from Duke, will be one of those picks. Another guy that's kind of hanging around that area, a guy who played for the national champion Kansas Jayhawks, Ochai Agbaji, who may go. Most of the mock drafts were suggesting he could go to Cleveland at 14, but who knows? Michael Jordan, of course, is the principal owner there, and you know he's got. I'm trying to think who the guy is. This is general manager, but you know in the past, Mitch Kupchak. In the past, Michael was hands-on, but I think he's letting his basketball people make the draft picks, but. You never know if MJ's going to walk in and have some thoughts on who the Hornets should take.
Listen, now for them, what they need an athletic big. That's where Mark Williams comes to play. And the reason why I think they'll take him is not only is he big and athletic, he's got the biggest wingspan, I think the second biggest wingspan in NBA history behind Gobert. He's supposed to be a top, you know, this is where he was supposed to be anyway. And he's from Duke, and it's Carolina, and you got a fan base, and people, you know, MJ looking at, you know, ticket sales. It's just like, and then you got a young, exciting team. They don't have a coach yet. You know, who's going to coach the Charlotte team? You thought you had Kenny, and then he decided he want to stay be an assistant with Steve Kerr. So what's going to happen? I mean, who's going to coach this team? What are you going to do with Miles Bridges? Miles Bridges is a free agent. Are you going to pay him the money you think that he thinks he deserves? And, you know, are you willing to do that? I've heard that because of his off the court things that he's been getting into, they're having question marks of whether they want to pay him for what he thinks his talent is worth.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting trying to put that roster together, and you know they're also looking to try to shed some salary so they can make sure they can give a competitive offer to Miles Bridges. But and some team that has cap space may jump in on him because he blew up this year, averaging over 20 points a game and really doing a good job for the Charlotte Hornets. And LaMelo Ball blew up. He became an all-star player there. They don't really have anything in the middle, and that's why the speculation is that Mark Williams and Jalen Duren is still on the board, the kid from Memphis.
Yeah, and Duren was supposed to go a little bit higher. He was supposed to go like where the Knicks were picking. But I think it's going to be Mark Williams because of the fact that it's Duke. And MJ doesn't get into that North Carolina and Duke except, when the teams play. He understands the value of fans and the fan base in that area. There's a lot of Duke people out there, so the ticket sales plus this you have room for this kid. This kid can come in and start for you right now. He's a pick and dive guy. He shoots almost 80% in the paint.
There it is. Just nailed it.
No, Charlotte went with Duren.
Yeah,
so they were probably surprised he was still at the board, which means Mark Williams could possibly slide all the way to 18.
Mm-hmm.
We can only hope. We only hope, America. Come on, baby. Come on. Oh. Who's the
Another plum suit.
What pick was that?
That was 13, and the Hornets obviously also have pick 15, so they're not going to take another center at 15. They may take Abaji or Branham. And, Tari Eason is still on the board. Somebody's going to fall to the Bulls at 18 that they didn't expect was going to be there.
See, that's what I told you. This is why the draft is so unexpected. You just don't know how it's going to play out. This kid was supposed to go higher. Yeah. And, now you see, he's down in the top 12, which that's fine, but he was supposed to be in the top 10. So now that just pushes everybody down now.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what the Bulls want to do if they feel like Williams is going to be there a couple of picks earlier and they can get him for a small asset, not trying to cash in Kobe White. Maybe they do make a move because one of the things the Bulls really lacked was rim protection on that second unit. They tried to bring in Tristan Thompson late in the year. He didn't have a lot of mileage left in the tank, wasn't really a force on the defensive end. I think a guy who could run the floor, catch alley-oop passes from Lonzo Ball, that'd be a real good plus for the Bulls.
Just keep him away from Kardashians. We're good.
Oh my God!
Well, he's right about that.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. They got money.
Speaking of rim protection,
I don't want to be no broke girls.
Now again, we are not hearing the audio on the broadcast. One of the guys on the Twitch chat said that the Hornets traded Duren to the Knicks. We got confirmation on that. Matty Ice, he's working over there. We'll see if we can get some confirmation on that. Because we expected that there would be a lot of movement. Tibbs knows he needs another big guy because Mitchell Robinson is a restricted free agent, but he's gonna command a lot of money in the market. I've seen some reports he could get like $15 million a year.
What?
Yeah.
What?
For real?
Yeah. You were born too early, Stacey.
Man, boy, if my mom and dad just would have went to sleep and they waited till like the 80s to have me. Oh, Lord. Hey, dun, 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 dun. Hot sauce crew behind you. We got some mess. We got some breaking news.
Breaking news, traded to the Pistons. No, we don't know who.
We got handheld signs. We got to move our technology into the 2020s.
Just flashcards.
We got
Matty,
notebook paper.
You got some old people here. We can't read that.
Hold on, go ahead, Cisco. What we got?
Adrian Wojnarowski on Twitter. The Pistons are acquiring Jalen Duren at 13 in the trade.
Oh,
okay, so it's not the Knicks.
And so who did they get for him?
It doesn't say yet.
Doesn't say yet.
So that means that 15, the Hornets will take Mark Williams.
Yeah, I guarantee that's what's going to probably happen.
So we got excited for a little while, but that's what happens in these live shows.
Premature.
You think something might happen.
Premature.
But the thing is, guys are getting pushed down. Somebody that we didn't expect to be at 18. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, if you have an Ochai Agbaji or a Branham, do you take them with the glut of wing players? That's the issue.
Ooh, I like Agbaji, man. I do. I think if this was any other time, if he would have came out after his first year, you'd be talking about him as a lottery pick. And I think, when these kids stay in school, they get penalized for it, which is wrong. Because I'd rather have a kid that comes in that's experienced 2-3 years of college, it's ready to go at 21 years old. You know what I'm saying? When you get these kids 18 years old, some of them are ready to play. Some of them are definitely not.
Yeah.
Some of those kids are going to the D League, the G League. There's so many D Leagues, G Leagues.
How about the Pistons? We talked about them earlier. Now you add Jalen Duren to Isaiah Stewart, who they had as the guy who was
and Bagley.
Started. Yeah, and then they picked up
They
Bagley.
got Bagley, and Bagley played well for them after the trade. Yeah, they got.
Pistons are looking pretty nice.
Hey, I said this last year on the broadcast, is that I'm looking for Detroit to make the jump that Cleveland and the Bulls did. Don't know if they got enough to make the playoffs, but I feel like with the way they're going with the young talent they're acquiring, and it also depends on what they do with, what they did with Grant, because Grant are they going to keep him? Are they going to pay him $20 million a year? Plus, they moved him, was able to move up in the draft, get another quality player. They've done well. They've done well tonight.
Yeah, I tell you what, you had a dynamic talent like Jaden Ivey, who some people feel like could end up being the best player in this draft, to go with the guys, Cade Cunningham, who was outstanding last year for him. We talked about Sadiq Bey. This is a young team that's got a lot of growth potential. Now that we get to the point where we're really interested to see who is going to slide a little bit further and give the Bulls an option at 18. There's going to be somebody there that they're going to like.
Well, A.J. Griffin was supposed to be in the top 12. And now he's moving
fallen
down. So there's some guys, Ty Washington. You talking about a guy who's kind of dropped like a rock. Ty Washington early on was picked to be in the lottery. And, now he's going to be somewhere, in the teens.
So Adam Silver announcing the pick for the Cleveland Cavaliers at 14. They were one of the big surprise stories. And obviously they faded late in the year. And they did take Agbaji, and that was one of the speculation. In almost every mock draft I saw, that's exactly where he slotted in, going 14
fits
Cleveland.
Perfectly there. Fits perfectly there at the small forward position. That was one of the areas where they really, really struggled, because they had to play three big guys. You're playing Lowry Markin at the small forward, and he couldn't move. He couldn't guard people out there. Now you got him out there. You got the kid they had there that went to Auburn a couple of years ago. They got two really good 3-and-D type of players, and this kid knows how to play. He knows how to play.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they balance that roster. Colin Sexton is going to be a free agent, and I think that they may say goodbye to Colin Sexton. Here's a guy that scored 20 points in the league a couple of years ago. He was hurt last year and didn't play.
He doesn't fit anymore because, you drafted him to be the point guard, and then you went and got Garland. And Garland Trudeau. Oh, we got Francisco. Speak up over there, boy.
So the Pistons are giving the Hornets the 2025 first-round pick.
Okay. That's breaking news from our man Cisco.
Yeah, if you didn't hear that, the trade was Duran going to the Pistons. In return, the Hornets get a first-rounder in 2025. I think Agbaji is going to be a really nice fit. As you mentioned, that they were trying to play those 3 7-footers together. It didn't work all the time, and they had Kevin Love coming off the bench. Now it gives them another dynamic wing who can do some things for them, and it's going to give them a chance to be a really interesting squad. So both Cleveland and Detroit making moves in the Bulls division, trying to close the gap on the Bulls and the Bucks.
Well, a lot of people was questioning whether Agbaji could shoot. As you can see, you look at his numbers, 31% as a freshman, 34% the next year, and then close out at 41% this year shooting, which is very impressive. And I know it's a college three, but it doesn't matter. He's shown the ability to shoot the ball.
And he was the most outstanding player as Kansas went on to win the national championship. And a lot of people didn't think that was going to be the team that was going to win it this year, but they were consistent throughout the season and really kind of peaked in the NCAA tournament. What did you think about Kansas and their run to the Big Ten or the NCAA championship?
They had a good team. Bill Self is a very, very good coach, and they didn't have like the star players like they normally have. You go back to Embiid and Wiggins when they were there. They've always had that one big name. They had a bunch of solid players that played beautiful in the system. They had the team that didn't get to go when they had COVID. Dotson's group.
Right.
That was supposed to be like Kansas's best team ever. But they didn't get to go. They didn't get to go play for the title, and so this team was very, very good. They had some down times during the year, just like most teams do with COVID. They battled guys in and out of the lineup. But when you watch them play, man, they were very well coached. They played hard all the time. They defended. They rebound the basketball, and that's a recipe for winning championships.
Shams Charania reporting that Kemba Walker is going to be traded to the Pistons, and I guess that would be a salary dump because we mentioned they have all that cap space. He's a guy that's had knee problems that have really derailed his career. He was a fantastic player in his years at Charlotte, but it hasn't been the same player since.
Let me tell you something. What derailed his career was Tibbs.
That's happened a few times.
Seriously. Because Kemba Walker, you look at his numbers early in the season for the Knicks, he was averaging almost 20 points a game at the point guard position. They blamed Kemba Walker for the lack of defense in that first group, okay? First of all, I mean, when you look at who's out there on offense and on defense, you got Evan Fournier, he can't guard nobody.
Right.
Okay. Julius Randle, I mean, he doesn't even play no defense. He's like an iPass. He just go right by him. And then Kemba Walker, being a small guard, he at least tried. But they tried to say when Kemba Walker was on the floor, the Knicks were minus 112 on plus and minuses. They were minus like 112. And they literally blamed him. And then they basically benched him, set him down, and then they played with, it was very unprofessional what the Knicks did to him, especially a veteran player. If you don't want to play the guy because he's not helping you win or whatever, that's one thing. Sit him on the bench. But you sit him on the bench, you make him inactive, an all-star caliber player. You went out and signed him to come play for the Knicks. You sit him, don't play him, treat him like he's ostracized. Then you get all these COVID situations. Hey, we need you to come play. We need you to come play. Score for us. He goes out there and does it. Then you get everybody back, and then you basically kick him off the team again. It was really bad the way the Knicks did him, and you hate to see that because he's not a bad locker room guy. Wherever he's been, Mark, no one has ever said anything bad about him not being a team player, not being a good locker room guy, and that was really, really hard to see a team do something like that.
Yeah, we mentioned the glut of guards with the Pistons right now. I can't imagine that Kemba Walker fits there. That's got to be a salary dump situation where they'll probably just buy him out and let him try to find a situation where maybe he can get some playing time. But, what the Knicks are trying to do is to free up cap space to make a run at Jalen Brunson.
It's not happening.
Well, you've been talking to him on the phone, so
it's not happening, America. I can't give you the information. I don't know anything, America. All I'm saying is, why are you going to leave Dallas when they can pay you the most? And you're playing with arguably an MVP caliber. He's going to go down as one of the great players in the game when he's done. And you got an opportunity right now. You're the number 2 guy on that team. You have worked your way into being from a second-round pick to being a star player to a superstar. And there's levels to this. And you got to have guys like Jalen Brunson. The guy can go out there and get you 20, 25 points. He's not going to do it every night, but he's going to take some pressure off of Luka like he did in the playoffs. Listen.
Mark Williams.
Yeah, we knew it was going to happen.
Dang it.
We were hoping he would slide when originally Charlotte took Jalen Duren at 13, but then flipped him to the Pistons. And now they took the player that everyone was anticipating they would take at 15. Mark Williams, of course, played in the state of North Carolina for the Duke Blue Devils. And I tell you what, you talk about a rim runner and a shot blocker, this kid's going to have an impact.
He may have the biggest impact on any team this year. Watch what I tell you. And the reason why, because he's playing with a point guard that will throw the ball to him he's a rim runner. Mm-hmm. He will run hard. He will set picks and dive. I mean, look what Plumlee's done. Plumlee was like, his career was resuscitated. I mean, he was getting dunks all day long playing with ball. Mm-hmm. This kid will run. He will rim protect. He will play hard every night. And he wants to be great. He's got, again, the wingspan 7'5", I think is the second best.
7'7".
Yeah, he's got the second best wingspan in the history of the draft.
Yeah, and he fits so nicely with that team.
Give me that.
Assuming they can bring Miles Bridges back.
See it. Oh, America. You're watching it right now on Twitch, right here. And this is the area where he can get better at his offensive game. They didn't really count on him a lot, but he really came up big in the tournament. But where he was big for Duke was blocking shots.
Yeah, now all of a sudden you got Miles Bridges, you got P.J. Washington, can go to their normal positions because P.J. Washington was playing a lot of center as an undersized 5. Now you got a guy that can block shots, protect the rim, and you can really let LaMelo Ball go to work. And they've still got Terry Rozier. I mean, they got some talent there.
Yeah, and they're gonna move the kid that they paid all this money for and didn't play.
Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, they're gonna move him, I think, at some point. And try to free up some more money. But I tell you what, man, it's a good pick. It's a good pick for Charlotte.
So we're 3 picks away from the Bulls selecting at 18.
He's coming.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, the guys that have been projected in that range, you got Tari Eason, you got E.J. Liddell, who we talked about earlier. Malachi Branham, the shooting guard from Ohio State, is still on the board. So it'll be interesting to see exactly who slides down to the Bulls. The draft is we've had a couple of surprises along the way, mostly some projected picks of young guys that we thought were kind of weird, but then they got traded to situations that made a little more sense. We mentioned Ousmane Dieng earlier, and he was a guy that was talked about as possibly a lottery pick. He went kind of early. Went to the Knicks, but then, of course, he got traded to Oklahoma City. It's going to be interesting to see who slides down to 18 and whether or not AK wants to make a move to trade up as Woj comes back on the screen if you're watching the ESPN broadcast. So we'll see if he's got news of another trade. But
well, I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta doesn't take Branham in this spot, knowing that Bogdanovich is having knee issues. He had knee surgery this summer. You don't know how he's going to come back. It bothered him, especially late in the season. So I would not be surprised, especially with the rumors that we heard DeJounte Murray going for John Collins. They're looking for an off guard. They probably didn't think Branham was going to be there at that particular pick. So I would not be surprised if Atlanta doesn't take Malachi Branham in this spot.
Yeah, I'm sure Woj has some trade information that will show up on Twitter at some point. But, the next pick goes to the Atlanta Hawks. And as Stacey mentioned, they're contemplating a number of deals. The speculation the last couple of days has been that John Collins would definitely be moved on draft night. Well, maybe that's exactly what Woj is talking about. We'll have to hear exactly what is going on with that. But they have depth at a lot of different positions. And I think a lot of times, Stacey, too much depth can be a bad thing because, your rotation gets too big. Guys aren't getting the minutes that they need, and nobody develops. That's why, they ended up dumping the kid from Duke to New York. He didn't play there either.
Well, I mean, listen, when you look at Atlanta, they have a good young team. They do. I don't know why you want to get rid of John Collins. It just baffles me why. He's, to me, one of the best young power forwards in the game. He rebounds, he blocks shots, he can score in the post, he can dive to the basket for lobs. He plays really well with Trae Young. You're talking about moving him, unless you're going to move him for someone like Ayton to come in and play. If that's what you're doing, go for it. But man, it just confuses me to have a kid with that type of talent, and he's a young kid. It's not like he's 30 years old. He's like 23, 24 years old. Here we go.
We'll see who the Hawks pick. Cam Reddish was the guy I couldn't come up with his name right away.
Reddish.
And now they might take A.J. Griffin,
that's who it is.
from Duke.
A.J.
So,
Griffin.
you cash in Cam Reddish, and you take a player who's similar, guy who came in his one season at Duke. He was hurt a lot, really didn't score the way a lot of people thought, but he does have potential as, again, the 3-and-D wing, which is so in vogue in today's game. But it's a good value pick at 16, but you just wonder where he's going to fit in their rotation. They still have Kevin Huerter, the kid from Maryland, who they like. Playing time is going to be an issue as they try to figure out how to implement A.J. Griffin. Maybe he could be moved along in some other deal as we go through the summer.
Well, and his dad, Adrian, played in the NBA for many, many years. He was an assistant for the Bulls.
Right. Played for the Bulls.
Played for the Bulls. His assistant coach in the Bulls is going to be a head coach very soon. And he's in Toronto, I think, right now. So I've known his son since he was at Highland Park with his little bitty guy. And, he's taller than his dad. He's got great size. He can shoot the basketball, knockdown shooter. He's got good length. He's 6'7". He put the ball on the floor. He kind of got overshadowed at Duke from the other guys as well. Like, he was like their third option on their team. But he can shoot the basketball, he can defend, he's tough, and he's athletic. So that's a good pickup. That's a good pickup for the Atlanta Hawks.
So that means of the players that we had on our poll, 3 of them are still available. That would be Tari Eason, E.J. Liddell, and Malachi Branham. 2 of them are guaranteed to be still on the board when the Bulls pick at 18.
Well, I'm looking forward to that.
So Houston picks. They've already fell into Jabari Smith, who a lot of people thought was the best player in the draft, and now they're continuing to build around their young squad. It'll be interesting to see if maybe they reach for one of the guards here, or if they go with Tari Eason at 17.
It's I don't know, man, because Houston has got, they need a point guard. I don't know if Kevin Porter Jr. is a point guard or not. I know he's more of a combo guard, but they could use a point guard and someone that can play point guard. It might be a Ty Washington.
Yeah, they're in the situation now where they are starting over, and they could basically go any different direction they want. Literally, for them, their best option is to take the best player on the board until they can get some veteran help in there. I think they're a team that's about as far away as any team in the league from being really.
Well, newsflash for you: John Wall opted in.
Well, if you got 47 million coming, I think I'd opt in too.
47 million coming in, and Houston's got to make a choice. They're gonna just send him home or play him.
Sounds like the Rockets are going to take Eason.
Yeah.
We hear them from our hot sauce crew.
From Woj to the hot sauce crew team.
Yes, we got our hot sauce crew on it, ladies and gentlemen. We think Eason is next.
Yeah, that's a guy that we were hoping would fall to 18 because he has a lot of the attributes the Bulls wanted. He has the length, he has the defensive mentality because, they were playing Javonte Green at power forward for most of the season at 6'4", and that was asking a lot.
I'm going to tell you something. Eason is big time athletic. Mm-hmm. Big time athletic. Big time. I mean, he can finish over anybody. He's got range. It's not like he can't shoot the basketball. He can shoot some threes. He's extended his range. Can run the floor. Big time player. So that'd be a good pickup for Houston. They're just adding more athletes to their roster that already have athletes.
Yeah, and Eason actually came off the bench at LSU, but still made first-team All-Conference, which is a pretty good accomplishment.
Oh, yeah. That LSU team was talented. They had a lot of good players, and they all got in the portal. Everybody just left.
Yeah, and you wonder, I'm sure Bulls fans are wondering, well, why didn't AK move up to try to get his guy? And we don't know what they thought of Tari Eason, but it's not that easy to move up. I mean, teams want future first-rounders, and the Bulls don't have those assets because they owe Orlando a pick in the Vucevic trade, and they owe San Antonio a pick in 25 for the DeRozan trade.
Well, I tell you what, though. We got some more news?
No.
I see.
Just having some technical issues we're trying to work through.
Okay. See him with a little piece of paper over there. I thought he was cheating on the test. So that's what it felt like, didn't it, Whispers?
It did.
Whispers, is there pizza?
There's plenty of pizza.
Can we get some pizza?
Would you like a slice?
Yeah,
maybe someone can help you out.
There's a lot of people here that could maybe carry the box into the.
Yeah, Tim, why don't
perhaps.
You're not doing anything. You go get the pizza, man.
Wow.
Hey, man, listen, I'm not saying that in a mean way, America. He's just sitting here like that little wooden Indian when you go into the little store and the little wooden Indian has the cigars. That's Tim.
I don't think you understand the importance of that guy.
He's like sitting over here like, I've been asking for the pizza like 30 minutes ago. Yeah. I was like, did pizza come in from Italy? Oh, yeah, it's in.
I'm going to buy you a book on stoicism.
Hey, listen. I'm gonna buy
Whispers taking over the Twitch chat. Everybody loves you.
Listen, man. Are you answering the fans on Twitch?
No. They expect silence.
He's got a pile of chicken bones and a glass of beer. He's good.
Hey, it looks like Jurassic Park over there. Jeez. What the hell is going on over there? All them bones over there. What, a T-Rex? Oh, wow. It's like a bone graveyard over there.
It's a good thing you stopped me.
Can we see that in America? Y'all see it over there? Oh, we can see it over there. Look at that. Look at all them bones over there, man.
Jurassic Park 7 over here.
Jurassic Park over here, baby. There's over there a little T-Rex.
Yeah, so the word from Woj is that even though they haven't announced the pick yet, it's going to be LSU power forward Tari Eason.
That was for we got the pizza, ladies and gentlemen.
All the folks on the Twitch stream that were hoping that Tari Eason would slide to the Bulls. We missed him by that much.
By that much. Yeah. What kind of pizza?
Hot sauce is good on everything, especially the table, too.
Man, that'll burn right through the finish.
Who put the top? Where's the top at?
Hey, don't strip the table.
Right in front of your microphone.
Oh, that's mine. No, that's not mine. That's not the top two. That's for the water. All America, we had a little spill here. A little hot sauce. Oh, it's burning the table.
Like 3 Mile Island over here.
That's how hot it is, America. The table's on fire right now. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
I can smell it.
We need to have a commercial break. Can we get some pizzas? I feel like I'm at the Jerry Lewis telethon.
Doesn't stop.
It just keeps going.
Just send your donations in at GimmeTheHotSauce.com.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You guys are crazy. Oh, I love you. I love you, America. We appreciate you guys being on Twitch today.
Yeah, ESPN is sitting on the number 17 selection.
They're really hanging.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They've got Jabari Smith on set, so they're going to take a lot of time. And, there was history made. Malika Andrews hosting the draft, the first woman to do that. And she worked at ESPN Chicago for 1 year. She followed Nick Friedel, went straight to the network, and now she's calling the draft. So congratulations to Malika Andrews.
Oh, Tari Eason, you were right again.
We knew that 5 minutes ago, Whispers.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
See, you're beating me to it now. I'm getting a little aggravated.
He's got the lime green suit going.
Okay, I see you.
Midori. Looks like Midori.
Oh, I wouldn't mind having a little Midori sour right now. Yeah, I don't know though. If he put some question marks on there, he'd be like the Riddler.
Stacey's not real a big fan of the drip tonight. Huh?
Nah, man. Listen. I mean, listen. Does see that batteries? Like when they went in America, when you watching the ESPN version, when they went to the top ceiling look, man, that suit looks bright.
I thought he got slimed.
Look at it, yeah. Nickelodeon. Oh, Lord. Versatility, shooting potential.
He's a long athlete, over 7 foot wingspan, 6'8", 217 pounds. As we mentioned, he came off the bench at LSU, but he's a guy that has a lot of potential. People don't really know exactly how good he's going to be as an offensive player, but if you're watching the ESPN feed as well, you see him scoring in the open court. He's got length to play on the defensive end. And I think right now for the Bulls, one of their biggest offseason needs, Stacey, is to try to get more length on that front court, because when they went to the bench and they were playing 3 guards, sometimes 4 guards, they really got out-rebounded.
Yeah, they did. I mean, with Patrick Williams be out, that really hurt the Bulls. I mean, really hurt the Bulls. And you had to play Javonte Green at the power forward spot. And you're right. You know, when it came time to rebound the basketball, they struggled. You know, that's a big thing that happened to him towards the end. That hurt him in the Milwaukee series.
We're getting some information from our hot sauce crew that they're going to have a surprise pick. Dalen Terry, a 6'7" wing player from Stanford, is it?
Arizona.
Oh, Arizona. Yeah, he was a guy that really kind of shot up the charts with good performances in individual workouts. You know, he's really not going to be a power forward type. He's going to be a wing guy that is a kind of a shooting guard, small forward type. And, you know, once again, AK plays things close to the vest, and no one was talking about Dalen Terry, and then that's who the Bulls apparently are going to take at 18.
Wow.
Well, there's 3 minutes left. Any chance of getting a piece of pizza?
I mean, hey, listen,
this is the most important part of our show. This is the Bulls.
I know, that's why you should be satiated.
There's going to be some good players when the Bulls draft at 18. Where did we get that information?
It's all over on Twitter right now. They also have a video of Dalen Terry on the Bulls 1 minute ago.
Still got Kessler, too.
Listen, if I don't hear Woj saying it, I'm not listening. I'm not listening because like I said, I believe if Branham is there, if Liddell is there, Kessler. I mean, there's some guys there that could fill some needs for the Bulls. I just
a lot of beat reporters writing, a lot of reporters now saying.
Well, that Telleray Wi-Fi is not really kicking in, so
mine's good.
Yeah.
yeah. Woj said it.
All right, there you go. Yeah, you know, and as I said, this is a guy that during the draft process really impressed with his workouts. Very athletic at 6'7". You know, he can run the floor. Got some positional versatility. They think he's going to be a really good defensive player. You know, we'll see. I mean, all you can do is hope that trust in AK and hope that he's got the right guy, and that it could mean that there are more moves that he wants to cover that position by bringing in another wing guy.
Yeah, obviously he did something that they liked, you know, that they felt like, yeah, this kid can play multiple positions, you know, give you some length on the wing position. You know, you got to remember, you know, Patrick Williams can play some 3 as well, 4. So now you have some versatility a little bit.
Let me read you the full scouting report on Dalen Terry. Again, he only averaged 8 points, shot 36% from three-point range, 6'6", 195, a sophomore at the University of Arizona. Pluses, he's a quirky ball handler with a tight enough dribble to run some point. He has a knack for locating cutters and shooters, played lots of point guard for Arizona, and would similarly benefit from a multi-creator NBA offense. Projects as a good spot-up shooter. He made progress from his first to second year in college. This past season, he made 37% of spot-up threes. Though he isn't a knockdown guy, he's good enough to warrant respect. Turns defense into offense with deflections and help blocks. His activity is a contagious attribute that could allow him to earn early minutes. Even if he's not the only one grabbing the ball, he's always going to be hard running up the floor. Projects as a highly versatile defender thanks to his long arms, mindset, and awareness. He was an all-defensive player in the Pac-12. As a bonus, he's also an attentive rebounder. Minuses, unproven shooter, especially off the dribble, due to a small sample size. Needs to learn when and when not to take risks, whether it's as a playmaker, forcing the ball into the paint, or helping off a shooter on defense. So that is your scouting report on Dalen Terry, a wing player from Arizona, sophomore. He's just under 20 years old, high-energy player. The comparisons that they make, shades of Andre Iguodala and Will Barton. So that's what we got. Stacey, you don't look too happy over there.
Shades. Nothing to say, huh?
In AK we trust. This could be a prelude to other moves. Maybe they're
The pick
select-
is in.
Who knows? Maybe
again, because of the trade restrictions on not being able to trade first-round draft picks in 2 consecutive years, the Bulls could not trade their pick until after they selected a player. So possibly they selected this player for some other team, and the trade will be announced later. That's possible.
Yes.
Here it comes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow, you guys acted like you have an upset stomach and you've barely eaten anything. Uncle Whispers has, but we haven't.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people that liked him.
Yeah.
A lot of people liked him.
If you're watching the ESPN feed, there's some highlights of Dalen Terry playing for Arizona.
Yeah, don't let the stats fool you. Don't let that 8 points a game and 4 rebounds and whatever. You don't know what the situation was for him on Arizona's team. But again, it could be a couple of things. It could be someone, like you said, Mark Bulls drafted him for someone else.
Mm-hmm. There's always the possibility that this player could be involved in a trade later. But, Stacey and I don't know about Whispers, but Stacey and I have done a lot of research, and we've read different reports about certain guys moving up the draft board. We talked about Jalen Williams earlier as a guy that was really jumping up. And I have seen a lot of reports on Dalen Terry really impressing teams with his versatility in workouts and really impressing them with his athleticism. Now, where he fits with the Bulls, you've got DeMar DeRozan playing the small forward spot. Obviously, the Bulls hope to re-sign Zach LaVine. That'll likely get done in the very start of free agency. So there aren't many minutes at those 2 wing spots.
Well, and they have him listed as a guard. Mm-hmm. So, my thing is like, what was the reason why they didn't go for the 2 Ohio State kids?
Yeah.
Liddell and Malachi.
Or is that part of the Levine trade?
Levine's not going anywhere. Levine's not being.
Hey. Come on. It's not tomorrow yet, is it? Yeah, you've done that to me before.
No, all the reports
pass it on the other side. I got it.
Hold on. I've got something from Francisco.
So Woj is saying Memphis is acquiring the number 19 pick from Minnesota and planning to select Wake Forest Jake
LaRavia.
Yeah. Yep. Told you.
Okay.
Told you. And he's a Memphis player. Is he going to Memphis?
Yes.
Yes. He's a Memphis player. He'll be like the Dylan Brooks for them. He'll be like a Dylan Brooks player. Watch what I tell you.
The Timberwolves will land numbers 22 and 29 in this draft.
Okay. But for most of the folks that are watching us, they're more interested in what the Bulls are going to do.
No, I was just surprised, Mark, that they didn't go for the 2 Ohio State kids. LaRavia was also on their list. The Shotbacher, again, the kid from Auburn, Walker Kessler was there. It just kind of wondered, like, what did Terry do that excited them? If that's the pick that they're going to make, knowing that, that they needed big. Maybe, listen, I don't know. Maybe there's something big on the horizon. Maybe there's something to that Rudy Gobert thing.
I gotta stop you. Sneaker Shop Talk says Stacey looks like when you show up on the date and she looks nothing like her pictures.
Oh, yeah, she's got one of those filters on, and it's like,
don't pan down.
You're like Janet Jackson. You look more like Freddie Jackson. Listen.
You'll keep an open mind.
I trust the front office, so I'm not even going to trip. But I thought personally, because like I said, you can't read the draft boards, you can't read any of that stuff. But I read it. I read it just like everybody else because I want to get some insight of who our team is going to draft. This kid was not on any of the Bulls mock draft things.
Right.
You know, it was Liddell, it was Branham. The last one I just saw before we came in today was LaRavia coming on there. So
here's this will cheer you up. From no greater authority than I poop Chipotle. He says, "I'm just a normal guy here, but I'm a diehard Arizona fan, and I watch every Arizona game. This guy is an absolute dog in the hustle department. He's an extremely relentless on defense, extremely underrated as a passer, and cuts to the basket very well. He was the glue guy on Arizona. He's a dog, Stacey. You're going to love him. Don't be killing DT yet."
I'm not killing him, Poopy Chipotle. I'm not killing him. I trust AK. I trust the front office. I just did not expect that. Just caught me off guard. There's Ty Washington still out there. I mean, there's some really good, because at that pick, as we talked about it, Mark, we've talked about it the last few weeks, it's a value pick. You got to take the best available player. I haven't seen enough of Terry. Matter of fact, like I was watching the big kid more because of the need of what we needed, big. So I was really, when I'm watching these college kids play, and I'm watching tapes of these college kids, Colico, I was watching the big guys because I would not expect us to take a 6'5", 6'6", 6'7"
Right.
kid in the first round, knowing that this is what the Bulls have been saying, that they needed a big, they needed shot blockers, they needed a power forward. So I'm going in, when I'm looking at tape all this last month, I'm looking at big guys. So it kind of caught me off guard when we took Terry, but obviously he did something to maybe the versatility, as Poopy Chipotle said, that the versatility, the cutting, the moving without the basketball was something big that the Bulls saw in the workout, and they took him.
Well, there's only 58 picks in this year's draft because the Bulls lost their second-round pick, as did the Miami Heat for tampering violations. So there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be undrafted free agents. They could call up Kofi Coburn, bring him in for a look.
I think he's going to go somewhere
Late
in the
second?
second round.
Yeah.
Listen, he's a big dude. If the kid from Iowa that's in Detroit right now, the kid that was all Big Ten.
Luka Garza.
Yeah, if he got drafted.
Late second round.
Yeah, if he got drafted, Colburn will get drafted too.
There will be guys out there, though, they can bring in. And, free agency starts next Thursday. That's the way the NBA works. It's fast and furious. You crown a champion, you have the draft, and then free agency right on top of it. The Bulls don't have a lot of money to spend, but there are a ton of centers out there. We talked about this on the last episode. A guy that might be a value pick is a JaVale McGee type, a rim runner, shot blocker.
Yeah, and if there's any truth to, the Gobert rumors, that still can happen. It doesn't have to happen on draft night. It can still happen. And maybe that's what they're thinking as far as if they have to give up something.
Maybe Utah wanted Dalen Terry.
Yeah, maybe, or just the fact that if they have to give up a wing player, they have a wing player. We don't know. We don't know what's in the mind of AK and the front office. We can just hope that whatever happens, if those Gobert trades are true, that we get a rim protector, something that we thought we were going to get in the draft. We get an experienced rim protector, one of the best in the game, and then we don't have to give up any of our big assets, the guys like a DeMar or and you remember we still got Vooch. Because I've never heard Vooch's name in that trade. I've always just heard the 18th pick and Kobe or something in that. I've never heard Vooch's name, but I'm sure you'd have to give up Vooch to get a center for center.
Yeah, you'd have to do it for salary reasons too, because Gobert makes over $40 million, so you got to get it within 15% of that. So that's why so many players are being talked about going back to Utah, because you've got to figure out a way to come in, within the salary match.
But that would be if that move is the move, and we can't get one of these, unless we decide to go cheaper and get a Robinson or
Robinson ain't cheap.
Yeah, well, he's cheaper than Gobert.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, everybody's gonna be cheaper than Gobert. Yeah. So I mean, if that's the route you're gonna go, and they're much younger, I can see that happening. But, whew, man, Lord, they caught me off guard, Bulls. You caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting that one.
But this is just the
Oh, wait a
first
minute.
move of the offseason. D, what do you got
In
for
the
us?
YouTube live stream, someone asked, maybe they're setting up after DeMar's departure, drafting for future needs to develop in the system.
I'm not trying to hear all that.
Oh, boy.
I'm not trying to hear all that. If that was the case, you'd have got Branham.
Because they're asking why are you guys getting a guard?
You could, no, seriously, if that was the mindset that they're planning after DeMar's here another 2 years, okay. So if that was the mindset of a general manager, you would go and get Branham because Branham was rated higher than Terry. Branham is 18, 19 years old. He's got a huge upside. That would be the route that you would go because he's a future two guard that could probably play some small forward too if you really want because he's probably not done growing.
Another question from the Twitch stream. Someone asking, could we go after Nick Claxton of the Nets? He's another rim runner, dunker type.
Well, if they break up that Brooklyn team, it's going to be a fire sale. It's going to be.
There's talk he's available.
Yeah, you'll be able to go out there and buy one get three free. Because if they lose Kyrie, and then Kevin Durant's going to ask him to be moved too, because it's like, hey, y'all done broke up the band, so I need to be moved too. They're going to be in the situation that Oklahoma City is, just trying to acquire assets.
Hey, Mark, has Poopy McNuggets responded to anything again yet? Or
No, a lot of people are just making fun of his name. One guy says, hey, it's a great name. You should go see a doctor, though.
Oh, boy, I tell you, our followers are crazy.
Another one saying, too much hot sauce over there, Poop
Oh,
Chipotle.
man.
We could clear that up. We don't have Chipotle.
Yeah, exactly. That is a pretty funny name, though.
And he's been active. He's hung with us since the start of the show. All right, so free agency starts next week, Stacey, and we don't know exactly what this Dalen Terry move means. We don't know what Kobe White's future long-term is with the Bulls. They only have the taxpayers mid-level exception, which is about $6.3 million. Not a lot of flexibility, but I'm sure AK is going to try to make maximum use of what spending power he has and try to improve this roster.
Well, I mean, they know what they need. And so what's going to be out there when it comes free agency? Because, again, you don't have a lot of money to offer teams. And then you got to bank on the fact that, San Antonio takes Branham.
Yeah, San Antonio adding to their young talent with Malachi Branham.
That's a good pick for them.
Yeah, they've done a nice job trying to retool that team. As we mentioned, probably Greg Popovich's last year coaching the squad, and Branham will fit nicely. Of course, they traded Derek White to the Celtics, and he played a big role for Boston in getting to the finals.
Well, this is a kid that's athletic, can shoot the basketball. He's just scratching the surface. And I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh, we got Phil Collins. He don't want to be seen on camera. Phil, come back. You going back to England? That's Phil Collins, ladies. He didn't want to. We're having him on the show sooner than later, and he didn't want to be seen right now. His hair is out of place. He didn't really want to be seen right now. So,
yeah, there's a comment here on the Twitch stream. Somebody said that Dalen Terry was quoted as saying there's going to be a redraft in 10 years, and it's going to be different. So he's got a lot of confidence.
I like it. I'm getting sold on him. I like a guy with confidence. Him and Chet.
Yeah, so we've kind of turned things around. Not really, but
Mark, I need to see some excitement over there, Mark. Mark, you gotta see some excitement over there with our.
No, like I said, this kid could be really good, but you have to wait and see all the other moves they make this summer because they could clear out some of those wing positions to the point where you need somebody that's going to help you out, and they've got to add to their big man depth. That goes without saying. And if it's not going to happen in free agency, it's going to happen in trades. And I think sometimes with the draft coming first, people kind of get too excited or want to jump off a cliff because they either love the pick or didn't like the pick, but that is just part of the process. There are still trades in free agency.
Listen, whether you Bulls Nation, listen to me. Whether you like the pick or not, that's not the concern. They know what they're doing in that front office. They've been hitting home runs since they've been here. So you got to trust the process. This team, if healthy, Ball comes back healthy, and if they still make they sign some quality free agents on their bench, and like I said, they still can make some trades. We don't know this yet. They're not done. But let's say status quo. Okay, let's say that they come back with the same team. Here's what you're going to see.
Are we playing Dalen Terry highlights? Oh, nice job, crew.
Yeah, there you
let's
go,
take
guys.
let's take a look at him in action.
Let me see this. I want to see this. There he is. I'm looking at it right
Kaboom!
now. Oh, yeah.
Ka.
There, the nice jump shot. Yeah, there he comes right here. A bucket getter. Okay. Okay. Got some handles.
You'll like this
up.
one, Stacey. From Sneaker Shop Talk, he says, Mark has the glass half full optimism of SpongeBob, while Stacey has the 1/4 full pessimism of Squidward.
Oh, give me the hot sauce, Terry. Give me the hot sauce, Terry. Oh, bang, bang, bang. Oh, baby, I'm on board.
You're hyped.
I'm on board, baby. Hot sauce time. I'm on board. Hey, listen, guys. Listen, let me tell you something, America, Bulls Nation. I admit when the pick came in, I was a little, yeah, like you said, it's like going out on a date, and the girl doesn't look like you thought she looked like because she had filters on, and then she wasn't wearing the filters when you came to see her. Yeah. Michael Jackson, Freddie Jackson, whoever Jackson, that's what it's like. But I'm gonna tell you something. I trust AK in that front office, and if they pick this kid, obviously he can play. Okay, so get on board with it. This team is going to win 50-plus games next year, okay? And no, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid or smoking weed, whatever you want, whatever you're drinking. I do have a little water over here. There's not water, people. Keep that on the down low, okay? Nobody knows how dry I am. Nobody knows. They're going to win 50-plus games, okay? Status quo, and it's the reason why I say Lonzo Ball's going to come back healthy. Zach's going to come back ready to go. DeMar's going to do what DeMar does. Will he have the same season? I don't think so, but he's still going to give you 23, 24 points a game. And Vooch, under contract, if they don't move Vooch for whatever reason, Vooch comes back here next year, it's going to be the best Vooch that we've ever seen. I'm telling you right now. Because it's a contract year. This might be his last time to get a big contract. Will the Bulls be that team to give him the big contract? I don't know. But you're going to get a good Vooch. You're going to see Vooch playing defense. Vooch is going to block shots next year. He'll be leading the league in blocks, rebounds. I'm telling you, you're going to see a different Vooch next year.
As long as he stays away from a Kardashian.
Man, stop saying that. Vooch is married, man.
That's not the point.
Oh, my God. Oh my God! Look at the Tibbs. Tibbs was still punching air for that Zhang pick, and then after they picked him off the floor.
Like multiple future first-round picks when I won't be here.
I won't be here, exactly. Like wow. Thanks for nothing. You were my agent too, Leon Rose. God.
Yeah. Sold him down the river.
Let's see what they got. Let's see.
The Denver Nuggets making their selection in the first round. Commissioner Adam Silver back from his bout with COVID. Good to see him back out there. Oh, they took Christian Brown from Kansas, part of that national championship team.
Okay, he went higher because he was supposed to go like the last pick of the draft, so he went a little higher than
one of those sneaky athletic guys.
Yeah, and he could shoot. He could shoot the basketball.
Who's that? That's his mom.
Wow, come on, man.
Yeah, that's where I went.
Come on, man. Come on, man. That's somebody's mom. That's his mom. You over here trying to hit on his mom. Wow. She's on TV.
You know,
wow, is that his mom?
That's not something you usually see in the draft.
Well, hey, man, there's some of these kids are young, man, like 18 years old. The moms still look good.
You're lucky this is a Twitch stream. If this was an actual network show, you'd have just lost your job.
No. Yeah, he would have been canceled culture. It would have been canceled as whispers. You
guys remind me all the time I'm not a media guy.
Yeah, that's true.
That's right. He can say whatever he wants.
That's true.
Wow, freak.
Well, hey, that was...
Yeah, he can play, man. I like Christian Braun. Christian Braun can shoot the basketball.
The sign guy just said, wow, Timmy went there.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he did. Are you surprised? Are you not entertained by whispers?
Did that move him up in the draft?
Hey, there's the other kid.
She went with all the visits. She went along with it.
Jovic. That's the other kid that was supposed to, I thought was going to go higher than this kid.
Yeah. Well, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, especially for Tim.
That's right.
They're showing a picture of his mother again.
Who dat?
No, that might be Bill Self's wife. That's not his mom.
That's Bill Self's
wife. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It's even worse now.
Yeah, it is worse. Wow.
I think that's Bill's third wife.
Hey, he probably said 3 words this whole draft thing. It's like, is that his mother?
Certain things get my attention.
Oh, my God, you freak. Oh, my God. There's John Morant. Oh, man. I tell you what, boy, they were fun to watch. This Memphis Grizzly team, man, they're gonna give some teams some problems. And I tell you what, if Phoenix lets Ayton go, boy, that could be the biggest mistake that they made. Unless they're gonna bring in the John Collins or someone to replace him, boy, that's gonna be tough. You see, Perkins look like Kimbo Slice. We're watching the ESPN over here at the show, and I'm looking at Big Perk. Big Perk looking like Kimbo Slice.
Street fighting coming up.
I'm waiting for him to take his shirt off and start punching Jay Billis. He's got chicken in his beard. You know, like you be eating like chicken in your beard. You got them big old beards.
Did you see what Draymond Green said about him during the playoffs?
Oh, yeah.
That guy that looks like Shrek.
Yeah.
That's cold, man.
And then he said, "Hey, it's not like you a pretty man." He was right.
Hey, you got to give it to Draymond. He'll snap back at you.
Yeah, he will. And you know what? Neither one of them is pretty. I'm just gonna be honest with you. So that's what you call one of them calling the other one ugly, the other one calling the other. No. Hey, wait a minute. Newsflash: you're both ugly.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the best available picks. You know who's going to wind up with EJ Liddell? The Bucks.
Yep.
You go to Milwaukee, he'll be a really good player off their bench.
Yep, because they may lose Bobby Portis.
Yeah.
So they'll have a forward coming in. If he plays like Grant Williams, that's a plus for them.
Yeah, he's a lot like Grant Williams.
Yeah,
although he's more athletic.
He's more athletic.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a plus for them.
So we'll see. Memphis is going to take a pick now. They got your guy Walker Kessler.
Walker Kessler.
He'll team up with Steven Adams, right?
Yeah, big Steven Adams.
Yeah.
Walker Kessler, this is the guy I told you.
A sleeper.
Bruce Pearl came out and said, this kid will be better than Chet Holmgren. Mm-hmm. He said that. He made that statement today.
Wow.
That's what he said. He'll be
That's
better.
strong.
He'll be better than Chet Holmgren. I don't know about all that. But I do know this. He's NBA ready right now to block shots. He's going to play behind Steven Adams.
Yeah, he led the country.
I'm telling you, the kid can play. You know, Smith got all the attention. If this kid was on the team without Smith, he would have got all the attention. He would be a guy that, he'd probably been a top 10 pick.
And he didn't shoot the three much in college, but there's some scouting reports saying that he has good shooting form, and they think he might be able to expand his range to the point where he could be a floor spacer as well. If you get that combination, a guy 7'1" who can block shots and maybe step out and hit a jump shot, if you use him as a guy off your bench.
Well, if you're watching him on our Twitch feed, you just saw he's able to switch out on smaller guys and then have the ability to get back over to his man and block a shot. He runs the floor extremely well. Again, he's got a good pedigree. His uncle Alec played in the NBA in Miami, got drafted in the first round by the Miami Heat. His dad played college basketball, so he's got good lineage. And
Tim's a big fan of the family whiskey, the Kessler brand.
Yes, that's right.
Hey, what do you got on your microphone over there? That's the voodoo charm? Is that like go with you everywhere you go?
Now and then I move it over here.
No, put it away from me, man. Get away. Seriously, get this thing away from me. It's got a magnet. Oh, get this away from me, man. Take this back. This is creepy.
It's magnetic.
No, listen. I don't want him, man. It's bad luck. It's probably why my hips hurt right now. Right. Jurassic Park wings. Give it to the little voodoo doll. It's like The Conjuring.
What's it take to get a piece of pizza around here?
Yeah, you know what, Tim? Don't be afraid to reach over there and grab it, somebody. By the time we get it, it's probably ice cold. It's been here for 2 hours.
He's got a microwave. We can heat it up.
Man, this is...
Maddie's right there. You thought she might hand
she's
us
the
a
producer.
piece.
The producer ain't got time to go. She's not trying to get the pizza.
How about producing some pizza?
I tell you what, why don't we do this? Why don't we take it through the Bucks pick at 24 and then sign off?
Yeah, we're going to sign off, man, because I'm starving.
Yeah.
I ain't going to lie.
So we got 2 picks left. You got any questions for Stacey, send them now because we'll try to answer the questions that you have in the next 10 minutes or so, and then we're going to call it a night because it looks like the Bulls are just going to make the pick at 18 and wait to do their more significant business as we get closer to free agency. If you're not familiar with when that's going to start, the negotiating for free agents starts at 6 p.m. Central Time on June 30th, and you can't actually sign the contracts for about 10 days afterwards. But as we found out, all the deals get announced right away when free agency comes. But, this year, Stacey, Zach LaVine is the biggest free agent. He'll probably re-sign with the Bulls, and if Bradley Beal opts out, then he immediately becomes the guy that teams are going to be chasing.
Well, here's something to watch out for. Pat Riley.
Yeah,
Pat Riley
he loves
is
Bradley
always lurking in the weeds, trying to find the big name to pair up with whoever he's got. He is willing to part with Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Kyle Lowry. You saw P.J. Tucker didn't come back. So that's telling you something there.
Right.
Because that's the type of place where P.J. Tucker thrives at with the way he plays. And for him to opt out and say, oh, no, this is enough for me. I can't play here. I'm out.
We got Woj on the screen again, so there must be some other trade that could be in the works. So as soon as we get that, we'll try
when
to
you see Woj on the
get you
screen,
the
it's not because
information.
he's pretty.
Somebody's asking, Stacey, is Rudy Gobert worth that contract if the Bulls were try to acquire him?
Let me tell you something. If Rudy Gobert can get me to the Eastern Conference Finals and beyond, yeah, he's worth it. He's worth it. Seriously, he's worth it. I mean, he's the one area the Bulls struggled at, especially against Milwaukee, was rim protection. You put that guy back there. Listen, you got Lonzo Ball, who's one of the best on-ball defensive players. You got Caruso, who's a very good defensive player. You got Patrick Williams, who's a great defensive player. So out of those guys right there, and then you got Zach, and you've got DeMar, who are not great defensive players. Now you can make a mistake defensively, Mark, because you got somebody back there that will erase it. When they made mistakes this year, there was nobody back there. It was layup city because you didn't have anybody back there. And the two things, when Zach comes back, Zach has to make sure that he continues to work defensively.
Wow, surprise pick.
This kid can play.
David
Roddy. Oh, Colorado State. Oh, he's a big dude. He's a big, like a Charles Barkley type guy. He's got good handles. He can pass the basketball. Yeah, man, that was a nice pick. That's a nice Philadelphia. He's like George Niang on steroids.
And Philadelphia apparently is going to trade the pick to Memphis. All right, so guys are on the move.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
These are Memphis
they
type
get
players.
Anthony Melton back.
Ooh.
Go with.
Wait a minute. Say that again, Mark.
According to our screen here, the 23rd pick. David Roddy goes to the Memphis Grizzlies in exchange for their versatile backup guard, DeAnthony Melton, as a scorer. So he'll go to Philly and join that backcourt.
Ooh, that's
Tyrese Maxey and Harden.
That's a big trade.
Yeah.
There goes E.J. Liddell now.
I told you.
Wow.
Here it comes.
Wow. I tell you what, that's a good trade for both teams.
The other guy the Bucks could take is the Notre Dame guard.
Oh, yeah.
They could
Wesley.
use it back. Yeah.
Wesley.
Like Wesley.
Well, Pat Connaughton's opted in, so he's back.
But they need
Wesley,
somebody to handle the ball besides Drew.
Yeah. Well, let's just be honest. Losing Chris Middleton killed them. If Chris Middleton's there, I don't know if Boston beats them. And I'm being honest. I don't care how Boston played. If Chris Middleton did not get hurt,
that killed them.
I think Milwaukee is in the finals. I just do. Because I think they would have went through Miami because Miami has no one that can stop Bam. And I think Milwaukee's back in the finals. I don't know if Milwaukee has had enough to beat, Golden State, especially when they play with the defense like we're going to give up threes. That would have been right up the alley for Golden State. They'd have been blown out every game, letting those guys shoot threes.
Right.
It was able to work against us, and it was somewhat able to work against Boston to a certain extent. And then Boston started hitting shots.
So Grant Williams made 7 threes in Game 7.
Yeah, and once that happened, that theory went out the window, and Milwaukee did not make adjustments after that.
More questions coming in for you, Stacey. 2 ex-Bulls people are asking about. Any chance of bringing back either Bobby Portis or Thad Young?
Oh, man.
Both free agents.
I mean, I like both of them, but I would take Bobby Portis.
Probably too much money though. I don't think the Bulls could afford it.
unless we can, swindle a deal with them and like, hey, give us a little discount, you're gonna get to play a lot of minutes. You may not get all the money right now, but we'll give you a year's supply of Doritos, and we'll give you a year's supply of Lou Malnati's pizza. Whatever we got to do. Joe Stone Crab, here's some gift certificates. Whatever we need to do to get him. He would be perfect. I like Thad, but Bobby is the guy that the typical stretch four that can play 5, small ball 5 would be great to have. He can rebound. It's so crazy. We had these guys. We had them, and for whatever reason, patience, guys not fitting the coach's style of play, we let those guys go. Think about how many guys we let go that we could have used last year. We could have used Nico Mirotic as a stretch four last year.
Sure.
Bobby Portis. We could have used Wendell Carter. We could have used Daniel Gafford, who's in backup in Washington, could have been here. There's so many guys. Doug McDermott. Doug McDermott shooting the ball way better now than he did his first couple years in the league.
And Otto Porter has a championship ring now.
All night long, all night long. That was Otto Porter.
Automatic.
Hey, Otto Porter laughing at us.
Yeah.
He laughing at us.
for
Yeah,
sure.
he laughing at us. He snuck in there and slid in there and got a ring.
He knew what to do in the champagne celebration.
Oh,
no?
yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He acted like he'd been there before. Yeah, right.
6 Grammys in a ring.
Yeah, hey, but you know what, though? But see, when you go to that locker room, Golden State locker room, you can't miss games.
No.
See, he was missing games.
Well, he's
here
finally
for
in
us.
shape, too.
Yeah, he was missing games with injury. And, so all of a sudden now you get in that locker room with Steph Curry and you see Steph Curry and Klay Thompson battling back from injury, trying to come back. How can you miss games?
Yeah.
They're not going to let you. You got Draymond Green probably yelling at you, get out of the ice tub, get on the court, I mean, you're not going to miss games. You're going to miss games at all.
So I guess Milwaukee's going to go against the grain, too. They're going to take a G League Ignite guy, Marjan Beauchamp, who I have to admit I don't know a whole lot about, but he played with the G League Ignite, and that's obviously the development program for kids that don't want to go to college, and he got some good run there. And I guess they figure at this point in the draft, you take a chance on a guy with upside rather than somebody. They're going to probably go the veteran market to try to back up Giannis and the gang.
Just remember what I told you. E.J. Liddell is going to make some people pay.
Yeah?
He's going to make some. He's the Io DeSumo of this draft.
Maybe Miami will take him if they lose P.J.
Yeah,
Tucker.
he's going to be – people are going to look back on this, and they're going to say, wow, how did he slip to –
Oh, he's crying. Tim?
Tim?
Yeah, he just got out of that Top Gun watching on his iPhone.
Hey, he said the same thing. I'm not going to Sacramento. Oh, Sacramento. Oh, we're going to Milwaukee.
Boy, that's saying something.
Yeah.
I'm going to Milwaukee.
Hey, be careful now.
Yeah, look
I'm
it
sorry.
up.
I'm sorry,
Hey,
Mark.
Mark from Milwaukee.
I love Milwaukee.
Yeah. Okay, sure you do.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's, you know what? That G League team with those high school
Are we
kids.
playing Marjan Beauchamp highlights? Oh, my gosh.
where we at?
Wow.
Hey,
Where we at?
kudos to the crew. I mean, how do you come up
Look
with
at-
that video?
you know what?
Playing for the
Listen,
Wisconsin
that's
Herd.
sharp.
Let me tell you something. They worked overtime to get this one.
Yeah.
I told them, baby, what I tell you. You never know who's going to be in the second
And when the
round.
fines come in for copyright violation, we know
We
where
ain't
to
hearing
send
them.
Nick,
We're not hearing them.
what's your mailing address?
Courtesy of ESPN.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, very nice.
Right there at the bottom. Yeah.
I tell you what, listen, that's a good little program. Ooh, wow, ooh, man, that boy got some hops. That's you know what? That's a good program for these young kids
Sure,
who don't
yeah.
want to go to high school, don't want to go to college. They get to work with NBA coaches like Brian Shaw and those guys, teaching them the pro game. They get to play in the G League. I don't know how many games are allowed to play. How many games are allowed to play that Ignite team?
They only played about 20.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
not a lot.
The G League plays a 48-game schedule, but the special team, the elite teams, they only play like a dozen games.
Look at all those tears.
20 games.
Yeah, so that's that. I mean, but he gets to learn how to play.
It's like,
the game.
Giannis going to kick my ass every day in practice.
Man, there's Bobby Marks. Bobby Marks.
He just got new paper.
Yeah. Where's he at?
He works
Portland?
hard. No, he works for ESPN. He's their front office insider.
Wow.
So he just signed a new deal. Everybody's getting new paper. Hey, here's a funny one. Sneaker Shop Talk says Otto Porter looks like an illegitimate son of Wilt Chamberlain.
He does. If you have him hold up like the point, when Will held up the 100, and then have Otto right next to him holding up like 6, he looks just like him.
And the sign guy was worried that Tim was going to talk about Marjan's mom too.
Well, I was going to make a comment.
Oh wow. I'll tell you
Well,
what.
we hate to leave you in tears,
Yeah.
but I think that we've done enough damage here on
we
our
done it.
live
This
stream.
This pizza's really getting cold. And
We want to thank all the people
oh, wait a minute. I gotta read.
who've joined us on the Twitch chat. We aren't say goodbye yet, and we're just experimenting with trying to do some things live on YouTube. So we really appreciate that. And Stacey wants to thank another one of our great sponsors.
I want to send a special shout out to Windy City Limousine. They provide championship service. Making a reservation is so easy, it's a slam dunk. Let Windy City break the full court pressure of traffic and get you to your destination in style and on time. Contact them at 866-94-WINDY. That's 866-94-WINDY. And don't ask for any special giveaways from 21 because you're not getting them. But you can say you heard the promo on the Stacey King, Give Me the Hot Sauce podcast show, and they may give you something.
What about Angel Water?
Oh,
I was just going to say, Tim, why don't you read
Tim, read Angel Water. Yeah, I'm not asleep. I'm up.
Angel Water, Chicagoland's largest water conditioning service. Wow. For healthy water, for a healthy you and a healthy home. It puts Stacey to sleep every night.
Every night.
All the chemicals in the water because he doesn't have Angel Water. That chromium-6 puts him to sleep rather quickly. Oh, boy. They'll test your water for free with that.
It's one
Code
of the most
King21.
awkward reads ever.
I think we're going to have to do a make good on this one.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You know what?
Just get you some
Just
Angel
call
Water.
the number and go to their website.
Yeah, call the number and go to the website.
And one last word from I Poop Chipotle. He says, Stacey and Mark, this was fun. Stacey, I'm coming to a game next year, and when you praise and Terry, I'm going to give you a nod, my guy.
Okay. You make sure you wear your shirt saying I poop Chipotle so I know who I'm talking to. Okay? So, because that is a unique name. And just make sure when you come down, say, I'm I poop Chipotle. I'm like, oh yeah, you was on the Twitch. All right, what's up, brother?
What's up, Nuggets?
Hey, you'll never forget that. That's one good thing he's got going for him.
That's a cool name. I would never
Some
use
guy
it.
goes, hey, I poop Chipotle.
Yeah, I
You're
poop
like,
Chipotle.
oh, yeah.
You know what? They got Pepto-Bismol over at Walgreens. You know, what do you want me to do about it? You know what I mean? I'm not going to wipe you. What do you want me to do?
Get some dude wipes, my man.
Dude wipes. Oh, we can't say
A new
that.
sponsor.
No, but we didn't get them yet. We can't say
Astronaut diapers.
that. Yeah. Astronaut diapers.
I'm in conversations.
Tim is always working angles.
deep in conversation.
He's working angles.
Hey, we want to thank everybody who joined us on the Twitch stream. It
Lot
was
of
so
fun.
great. All the sponsors that participated, and we had a lot of fun with all the comments. We had some great laughs along the way. Tim now, on his business card, he's a hot sauce packer.
He's a hot sauce packer.
That's me. I don't know what that means.
That is going to live on forever.
is.
So thank you for getting us into that.
Thank you,
game.
Tim.
Yeah.
Hot sauce packer.
Thank you for the name.
It's time for beer and pizza for the crew, and Dalen Terry is quickly going to become our new favorite player. We found out that he has a wingspan of over 7 feet, Stacey, at 6'7", so he's going to be a defensive menace.
Give me the hot sauce. Woo! Dalen Terry. Woo! Drive home safe in Chicago.
Good night, everybody.
Beep, beep.
What are you doing?